Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the DeBrief show.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
As usual, we were going to take a couple of minutes just to start to send out the links to everyone so that we don't be on our phone during the show.
Mm-hmm.
So do bear with us while we post these links out. Feel free to share, like, and follow our page as usual as we debrief with Grenville Phillips. Good afternoon, everyone. During the show.
A bit of a delay there.
Yeah. Yeah. So some people are coming on. Let me go on for this here.
So Kimara was your week, man. No, yes, Stuart, and then Safri. Kimara S1 and Kimara S2.
I
was
just
that?
one.
You say S1? Aye.
Yes, one.
How was your week, man? Was that?
S2 squared and obviously we're better than 1 if you know.
I like it already. You had a cool week though.
So we ain't quite ended as yet, so
We didn't get there. We didn't get there.
celebration.
So Mr. Safri, how about you?
More peaceful and polite trying to get right.
Nice in this place, but that's alright. How about you, Mr. Demani? How was your week?
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. Wow, wonderful, man. How much traffic you blocked today?
Man.
Alright. And of course, Mr. Bedford, Mr. Objectivity. How you doing, man? Wonderful. Had a good week?
I had a great week.
Yeah, to be quite honest, the first couple of days of the week were hard for me because I couldn't see my way to do anything because of
You
darkness.
know, most people can't see progress.
Oh no, some people have pathways to progress too as well.
But you know they say you were playing for 10 years. You know.
But we played it for longer.
No, but let me tell you,
I know
man,
when
that-
you played, but I think you was also mute.
but to be quite honest, the power outage and the lack of the water really affected everyone. So I'm glad that the powers that be are rectifying that.
Yes,
Well,
the
slowly
powers at B.
rectifying.
The powers at B.
No, the
The
powers
powers at B are
the
definitely rectifying
powers
everything.
at the Barbados, like the power. They're trying their best.
The powers that be went and rectified. The powers that be went and rectified. As we're saying to everyone, we're just taking time out to just share the page
Yeah.
as we get ready for the show. We also ask that you also share the page and the on our feed as well with your people as we
Like and share, man.
speak to Grenville Phillips II, who's also head of the Solutions Barbados. But we're going to have a very good, yes, Waza, we do have power. We do have power.
We finally got power. We got power.
If not where we are, always have power. Somehow we always got power. We're in a safe, powerful place.
Yeah, the powerful place.
But we just want to ask you to share. We all really want to encourage everybody to like the page because that's important so that when we hit on people like Waza that knows exactly when we are on, everything we are on all the way. And I think Waza, you say you're in England. We really want to thank you for tuning in religiously. If we had a gift to give away, definitely we would give it away to you. You're faithful to come on the show. So today we've sought to bring in Mr. Grenville Phillips of Solution Barbados, and we've been hearing Grenville a lot. He's social media as well. I think you have a column as well. Is it Barbados Today?
That's correct.
Barbados Today. And he was in the last election carrying his party Solutions Barbados to the poll as one of the, I think it was the third of one of the 3 or 4 political parties other than the norm BLP DLP. His party was one. I think you guys did pretty well for first timers at the poll. In some sense, other parties never really come close to what you guys. I thought about third parties. Well, you are third party. Well, other parties are third party. No, we know that you guys came in. You brought your 30 to the poll, and you came on strong. As I said, you're still very vocal. We really would like to hear now where the party's at, and if it's you or more people. But you said it's your topic today. You would really like to discuss the violence in school and the other topics. We also saw that you hold a lot of hand, and we like to be frank on this show, as it relates to your topic associating the recent death to marijuana. I think the post was recently deleted, but we'll give you a chance to explain it. But we're just telling you what we've been seeing.
Yes.
And I know it went up to almost 300 plus comments because it was being circulated. I don't know, it could have been that you were well intended, but it was taken out of context. But again, that's social media. So we thought, you said your name was mentioned.
On that
String, you said your name was mentioned a number of times on the show. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And we've also given you a fair chance to come on the show to defend anything that was said, all things that was said about you, about your party. So, Grenville Phillips, you're on the DeBrief show with myself, Kimar Safri. We have Simon Allen on your left. Kimar Stewart, by no means a stranger to you. You have on my right here the Manny Small. And we also have Jermaine Beckford. Now, to just set the tone for the show, we're a very aggressive show. It's a chat room kind of chat that we bring life. Whatever we will say in the chat room, we basically say we're not scripted, we're not political, even though people have different political sides. We're not political on the show. When we on the show, we're moderators. We ask questions, we imply, we hit hard, we say what we have to say. And that's what is making the show, what's making the show bigger now, more favorable to people. And people are liking it. We're young people. I said all have their own different aspirations. As you can see, Simon and his is it
Pockets of property.
Progress. See, this is a document that circulated quite well.
Right? Pop for facts.
The
document.
progress with the Dems. That's
the progress. So because you may refer to it. If you find anything to refer to it about.
Yeah.
So we just get, and we should just let you know that, and the viewers know that we're not scripted. We are very straight up. We are very thin. We take your criticisms very well, and we put them into best practice. But Grenville, you're here. We said a mouthful. Talk to Barbados. I mean, the numbers are up to 38 views right now, so you probably got something to say. Everybody wants to hear. Tell us about Grenville and what's going on.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. I know I'm going to enjoy myself.
You will, of course.
I have no difficulty with any questions.
Wonderful.
Again, once they don't stray into my family,
That's
I'm happy.
phenomenal.
I actually look forward to this because even though we are perhaps the most active party.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Who we are? Who you said
Solutions Barbados. Solutions Barbados is the most active party. Every single week we put out a press release. Every single week.
Even though the party is very active.
Yes,
right?
but
so is the Democratic Party?
Yes.
Let's hear.
I defined what he meant. Every single week we put out a press release. It's just that the traditional media doesn't really carry it. Barbados Today does. I put it out on social media, but generally you won't really find our press releases. For some reason, we are not covered. The media do cover.
Extensively. Someone asked you to speak louder.
Oh, okay.
I'll turn it up. No, go ahead. I'll fix it.
All right.
That's
how long this lasts.
If
I got a shout at it.
No, go ahead. Just speak normal. You're covered. Go ahead.
Okay. When the Democratic Labour Party had their annual conference, it was widely covered. Well done. The Barbados Labour Party had their annual conference. It was well covered by the traditional media. The UPP even had theirs, and that was covered. Then at Eastman, she stepped down, and Heru Holligan, he is in charge now. We had ours, and the media would not have anything to do with it. I was re-elected president for another year, because that's what our constitution is, every year. As the executive, you're re-elected, or you can choose others. And the traditional media of Barbados doesn't want anyone to know that for some reason. So
you invited the media?
Yes, we sent out our press release, we explained everything, and then they just would not cover it. So we are accustomed to that. Even before the elections, it was hard to get our candidates media coverage. Every time the BLP came out with a new person, Colin Jordan or whatever, they got a full write-up, full color page, profiled. Whenever the DLP came out with a new person, Kim Tudor, full color page, profile, this before the elections were called.
True.
Whenever the UPP came out with a new candidate, a full color page, profiled. I couldn't get a single one of our candidates profiled in the traditional media. Not even me as political leader. I think I'm the first political leader that's never been profiled in the traditional media.
Okay. That is shocking.
Yes, but that's just like, there's a reason for that.
What was that reason?
Well, the reason that you understand, because again, at this level now you sort of understand a lot of things, and people explain, well, until you come and kiss the ring, well, that's how it will be.
Kiss what
So,
ring?
well, we are, I believe, the only party who plans to do something seriously about corruption.
Really?
Yes.
But alright, before you go any further, Grenville,
Yes.
I know it would be fair to the Democratic Party this evening. The Democratic Party passed legislation in Parliament to deal with anti-corruption.
Yes.
The Barbados Labour Party came in, revised the legislation, and to the best of my knowledge, it is on the books.
But why was it revised? It had to be a reason.
Oh, but
With any legislation, you always find
Loopholes and stuff. Correct.
I'm not going into the substance of legislation. I'm saying to you that you're
Something was done.
saying, Grenville, that you're the only party who is interested in it. Period.
No, that actually plans to do something meaningful about it.
So
Everyone
what
talks
do you
about it.
what do you consider as meaningful?
But no, we will consider it as a plan, because if you that money-
he said
meaningful.
He said meaningful. So
Yeah,
what
he also
do you consider as meaningful?
To stop corruption in Barbados.
How?
but you're not. That's vague.
Yes, well, it's very easy though. You allow competitive tendering on construction contracts. Because
Go ahead.
not really.
But the law says it happens, right?
No, because even under the last administration, right, under the last administration, I could have worked in Barbados for 7 years.
Okay.
Because all the work, yes, you have this pathway to progress with a lot of projects. So it's not what was done, it's how it was done.
How it was done.
Right. So who got them? So having competitive tendering allows
Fair play.
everyone to tender, and whether you win or you don't win, you still get better. Tendering helps everyone get. I don't win all my projects.
So sorry, that's a question. You there were projects and you actually gave them. You sent quite a bit.
No,
You
you-
sent
you
out
was-
the paper to say they're open for tenders. We want to receive tenders for a project.
Yes, it seems that tendering was abolished in Barbados. Everything was simply given.
I can agree with you on that one for sure.
Yes. So
I
it's
agree with you there.
and usually every political party when they get in,
Well,
they
yeah.
give some berries to the boys. I understand that, but not the entire tree.
Or the question I have to ask you is this, right? Suppose that the whole competitive tendering, as you said, get put into place. So you revamp the system, change the laws, you ensure that if I want to build a bathroom, that
Grenville could tender, Simon could tender, Kimar could tender, Damani could tender, even
And then you
Jeremy could tender.
choose whatever.
Right? You send it to a committee, but you know they also said that the minister has the right to reverse the decision of the committee, right? Or you say the committee's word is final, right?
Yes.
But what happens if after the committee's word is final, that the minister appoints the committee, right? Regardless of what happens, and the minister says to the committee, look, you got 200 people bidding, but the people that are taking serious is Damani, Simon, and Kimar, right? And then after it comes down to these three serious people, because remember, each committee got a chairman, right? And the chairman usually guides. Well, the committee can say we voting by what is the word looking for? Secret ballot. But the chairman has the deciding vote, right? And the chairman is appointed by the minister, regardless of which party is in power. It can be Solutions, Barbados, BLP, DLP, UPP, whoever. So the minister says, "This is whom I am most favoring." Or a better example, the chairman of the committee sees this person around the minister most. So the minister may not tell you that this is the person whom I'm favoring, but by
Implicit association.
by implicit association, as
I'm gonna say, this is what's happening, right? You have the competitive tender, you got everything that you listed out there. What happens when one person continually gets a contract? So
Right. So that's a hypothetical situation you're talking about, but I'm sure it does occur, but I have found that when tendering does occur, it seems to be fair. When anything goes through central purchasing, the tenders board, I believe it's fair. I think there are
So you
persons
feel-
of high integrity there. I've been there, I've seen them because I've called them. They are persons of the highest integrity. So I'm very comfortable with them. What I'm concerned, if there is a concern, even in some of the boards, it seems to be fair. So I think once you have competitive tendering, that will solve a lot of problems. Will there be some problems that fall through the cracks? I'm sure.
So if the BLP and DLP implement a correction plan, you don't have a cause.
If they implement a correction plan?
Yeah, you don't have a cause. If you're saying that you intend to do something like corruption, if they do something with corruption, you have no cause.
Well, what are they doing? What are they doing?
But he's
So
saying
what-
if
what-
they implement it.
Right. That's the thing. They always claim that they will.
So you're
50
saying
years they
that
haven't.
Mm.
Right, and therefore, are you going to tell me another untruth?
So,
Right? So what do we plan to do?
Alright, hold on.
Oh.
This is the question I got for you now. And you actually just hit me on the head because the DLP put a proposal on the table. The Barbados, they probably put a proposal on the table. So I want to hear what is so different about your proposal.
If we listen to the Barbados Labour Party or the Democratic Labour Party, they both accuse each other of gross corruption.
Hey, Nick and Elise.
Not a little bit of corruption, gross corruption. Now I'll tell you something about myself. I hate corruption. I hate corruption with a passion. I hate it.
Me too.
Are you a member of a party?
Of course.
Probably. Is your party doing anything about it?
About corruption?
Yes. Have they done anything about it?
I will say this to you.
Except talking about it.
No. I can be very straight.
I say my
That's the first
question,
step.
It won't be
Yes,
Bush.
I can say that my party is doing something about corruption, right? And it is, there's this saying, it is not only what you know, it is what you see.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the way how Prime Minister Motley is operating in Barbados, you can feel more reassured that when she tells you a decision has been made, you feel within yourself that persons have been given their just due, right? And what I like most about Prime Minister Motley and Barbados Labour Party now, unlike what happened on the Democratic Labour Party, there's a sense of openness in Barbados. So you can, I'm not saying that anything untoward is not happening, but I will say to you that when the Prime Minister says that she's doing A, it's 99% of the times, and you go back and look at facts, it is absolutely correct.
No, I can't.
And there's
I agree
open,
with
there's
that.
open transparency there.
It is, as I wrote after the elections, it was a wind of change. It was a refreshing wind of change. The openness, the talking, it was
The
refreshing.
dialogue, yeah.
However, when former Prime Minister Stewart spoke, it was sort of refreshing then too. Sometimes.
Wait, who?
Because he
It
was.
was?
Well, let me
Hello,
explain.
hello.
Let me explain.
Let
me explain
Grenville
because
speak,
he
please.
was.
If you want a history.
He was.
Hold on, please.
Just like the budget.
One show, please. One
Yeah,
show.
just like the budget then.
One discussion.
In the budget speeches, you had Sinclair. He would come and explain it and say, "Well, this is what he plans to do."
It's a
And
good micromanaging.
you will say, "Well, that doesn't sound too bad. That seems reasonable." And then the other side will come now and explain, "Well, you can run it every sense, and you really messed up the things." You say, "You're right. The bees, will be better, and the D's, they don't know what they're doing." And then the bees will come there. Someone else will come and speak and say, "Well, you all had 14 years to do it, and you didn't do it, but we're doing our best now with it." And so you're right. The D's sound like the responsible persons, and not the other fellows.
But you still
And then someone else come. No, I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
the
though.
corruption plan.
I know. I'll get to that. I'll get to that right just now. But because it's quite an important thing. Eventually, someone will speak and really explain, "Well, yeah, but you did it so badly," and you say, "You're right. The D's don't know what they're doing. The D's know what they're doing." And then after it all, suddenly, former Prime Minister Stewart will come on. And he will go and give the history of something. A great orator.
Yeah.
And just
Yes.
put the thing to bed.
Really?
And close the case. No, if you listen to him carefully. He just,
Yeah.
it seemed to make so much sense. And then he
To
said,
you?
"Well, I'm just telling you, I was not in politics then." Right?
Clearly.
And
Listen to what
but,
we're going to say.
yeah,
But you know what? Everybody listen to
That's what
everybody.
we're not-
They're begging that you like begging that you're a leader.
Oh my gosh.
I'm an educated fellow.
there.
So am I.
Right, so you write a whole bunch of
So is he?
Yes, so you're all educated.
He's
You're all
highly
educated.
educated.
But give him a chance.
However,
One
I
show.
found
One
myself
show.
swayed by the oratory. I found myself swayed by the B's and the D's
Mhm.
because they're so good.
Mhm.
And I'm here swayed from left to the right.
Independent.
So I
So this is the reason for
the masses
solution
don't
then?
have the masses don't have a chance.
So this is the reason for
No,
solution.
but it's always what are you doing, not what you say.
Hold on, let me hear it, man. Let me hear it, man.
Before you get far, I want to say this, right? You just spoke about how Prime Minister Stewart would come and give this nice oratory speech.
But was it
Very learned.
No,
Very learned
hold
man.
on.
Very learned man.
There was a speech that Prime Minister No, we can go back to corruption. But there was a speech that Prime Minister Stewart gave about his then Minister of Finance that he refused to do anything with or pull up in any way. What he said would be Minister of Finance? That the Minister of Finance is like a black cat in a dark room.
Trying to find it.
Somebody finish it for you.
Trying to find a light switch.
Yeah, and he knew what he was saying about Sigler. Because he was a black cat in a dark room trying to find a light switch that he never could figure out where it was.
We never find you blind.
You know what I mean?
We know what darkness was. We experienced some darkness recently. I can tell you that.
Oh,
Right.
God.
Well, I'll come back to Sinclair because
Right.
But back to
But
corruption.
what's the corruption? Everyone here. Everyone here.
he did some good
You
things.
gotta blame the D for that.
And he
Was
also
it- was it-
said,
was it-
and
was it-
reference
sorry.
to corruption.
I think we said Randall.
No, but,
No, we hear
I'll
we
take-
then when we hear
Oh,
we hear
let's
the
do
already.
corruption first. Let me go to Sinclair then.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to the B's and the D's,
Mhm.
both accuse each other of gross corruption.
Correct.
It's true.
But yet, when the
Welcome,
D's,
brother. Peter.
okay, welcome. When the D's are in opposition,
Mhm.
they talk about the corruption, but when they get in, they do nothing about it.
Mm.
And when the B's are in opposition, they
Mhm.
talk about the corruption, gross corruption, talking about bringing in the police and everything else, and yet when they get in,
Mm.
nothing is ever done.
But
Mm.
public
As
health
if
committee
there
all
was-
these things now.
Well, yes, they always have public health committees, and nothing happens. It doesn't matter how much public health committee you have, nothing happens.
Mm.
When you look at the pot, it's always empty.
But Grenville, to be
Yes.
fair, I remember when the Barbados Labour Party was in power, and they found or wanted, and being that the opposition leader, which was the Prime Minister at the time, saw gross misconduct as it relates to misplacement or mismanagement of fund or whatever, she did summons persons from the Democratic Labour Party who refused
To attend.
to attend.
Yes.
On top of that, I think this is probably the first time in a long time
It's an advisor.
that we saw a public accounts committee bring somebody, whether or not it be paid public or private, to account for the mismanagement of funds within the Barbados Transport Board. So we can't say that in one breath that we are not seeing anything when the Barbados Labour Party have started the process that is made up of a bunch of independent senators, both senators from the opposition and also senators from the thing. So we have to give jacket where we can't I can't allow for you to then say that the Barbados Labour Party didn't do nothing when there's action. And then the guy was also invited back and they made mention that other people would be brought to the committee.
Yes.
So we have to say that there is some level of progress as it relates to people being accounted. Well, I think in my opinion it may be slow in coming. It's still happening far more than it was happening underneath the last administration.
After you address that, I want you to address a comment that's being made here.
Boy, we go.
Person said, Grenville, please inform that you were recently involved in the tender process and you were successful.
Fair transparency there.
I
want to hear your response.
Congratulations.
Congrats. If that is
See
the
that the
case.
system works.
If that is the case. If that is the case.
You know what? I have tender because I am.
It's
It
money.
wasn't just this administration, the last administration, towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
they did start low tendering.
But you did use success because you said for 7 years you didn't get
Right,
anything.
so 7 years I couldn't tender.
Right.
Right, because they were giving away the
So now,
price.
Right,
so
you
now,
weren't
so
appointed.
now, so now you're being tender.
Right, but then after in the last couple of years or so
Mhm.
of the last administration,
How much in the last couple of years?
We
I think
said it was
about
7.
about 2 years,
Okay.
the last 2 years or so.
So you got some. Okay, success.
Well, there were 3, I think, CDB projects.
Oh, wonderful.
No, government, no captain.
Wonderful, man.
No, I mean, so you don't get it.
No, hold on, let me
You don't have the facility, you could tender directly to CDB, correct?
No, well,
No.
the CDB
No.
are the ones that fund the project.
Fund the
Oh,
project.
okay.
Thank you,
So they-
Mrs. Thank you.
Yes, they funded the project.
Yes,
so
Mr.
therefore,
Safi.
that's why I would say there's extremely little or no corruption in the international funded projects. So when the CDB, IDB, World Bank, when I go after those projects, you know that there's a fair tender.
Oh, wonderful.
So
That's encouraging. That is
there are 3
encouraging.
tenders, and they want 2 of them.
So tell us
And
about
then
the
Wonderful.
Just let me read this comment before we go on to your question. Somebody blowing Jermaine head here. That's why he probably talking so much. Jermaine, I waiting to see what you do when you get in, cause I know you have the brains and the understanding.
Wow.
Jermaine, you getting it?
I don't know. I probably might run one these days.
Yeah, son.
Well,
True used to go to Jersey.
I would like to stop prepping people to come by here, but yeah. Right, Kimar.
Okay, but we can do that the jacket.
Right. Still waiting to hear what was your corruption
Right.
plan.
Trying
And
to get out.
two, could you tell us about the projects that you won under this administration? I mean, you were featured in the newspaper, close to the Prime Minister. You working on
Mr. Of course,
Yes.
when after election.
So
He was walking right beside you.
yes.
Hey,
So,
listen.
Yeah, you were.
so
Tell us.
I saw his
Well,
unity.
the internet don't lie, so tell us
Alright,
about
I'll explain that then. I'll
Uh,
explain
boy,
He was right behind
So
you.
let me get. So hold on, guys. Let me get the Grenville on the corruption.
Yeah, to get
So you
that
can
out.
finish
Get
that
that
part,
plan,
and then move on to
Go ahead,
Kimar's
your
second
plan.
question.
That's
Go
your
ahead,
plan.
Grenville.
What's your plan?
Yeah, so we give Jack his jacket, but the jacket is still on the hanger. It is not on anyone yet because we haven't seen.
Yeah,
I said
exactly.
the pot is still empty, right? Despite all that's going on, we know all the political bluster, all the entertainment. It happened when they were going after the last Minister of Health.
John Boyce?
No,
yes,
Zaba was Minister of Health?
Oh, Bradford Tate, yes.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Yes.
we are
John Boyce
on
was
the
Minister of
show,
Yeah, we are.
right?
We are.
But nothing is in the pot at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we plan to do? If all this corruption has taken place,
Mm-hmm.
then, and again, I talked to persons in the industry overseas.
Okay.
A fellow actually came, and I hosted him in Barbados. We ate and we went back because we're all at the same level now, director level.
Mm-hmm. So you're a
I went-
director.
Well, yes, I was a director, but we're at that level,
Mhm.
right? We're at that same level in the industry.
You mean within the profession of
Yes.
architect?
No, engineers.
Or
No,
engineer.
no. I mean, in terms of, we graduated, 30 years ago,
Okay.
Oh, I get you.
Okay, I understand.
and as junior people, and we moved up the ranks,
Mhm.
and we all know at director level. So that's who I interact
I
with.
So you're in the upper echelon of society then?
Uh,
You said director, so you
Within your-
open the door.
within your organization.
If you start a company tomorrow, you can be a director.
I was a president, no more. I got country.
Yes, right. President.
you plan to address
Yes,
the corruption.
yes. Do you know
corruption
that? No, there's the corruption here. No, there's the corruption.
But I want to hear what the plan.
Right? No, because you understand this. No, this is the plan.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
trying to give you some meat on the bone.
Let me get it done.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So he does work around the world.
Mhm.
My market is the Caribbean, but he does work around the world. And he explained to me like he hates corruption, but he has no choice. He has to pay the bribes.
Mm.
You can't hit it then.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
Mhm.
So our plan was to contact every contractor
Mhm.
and consultant who's worked in Barbados since independence, and let them know, come and get yourself sorted out because
Oh.
it's linked to our plan for dealing with crime, which is if you have committed an offence,
Mhm.
then the penalty is 10 times the value of the offence. And we're not locking up anyone.
Suppose they
Except
carry
they're-
a dollar.
Huh?
Suppose they carry a dollar.
You carry it all. You pay $10, or the minimum I think was like $500.
But you
Because
said
have-
you're not locking up anyone.
except you're violent. So everything else carries a fine. if
So
you
hold
want
on.
steal-
But if you see the million and I got paid 10 when I
10
break,
million, and you go back to 10 million. Well,
Or if
Wait,
it's
wait, wait.
if you're
incarceration.
broke,
I can't wait. Hold on. I can't wait 10 million.
yeah, you carry 10
I the
million.
black man can't wait 10 million.
Yes.
1 million.
Yes.
I break.
Yes,
I ain't got 10 million. Can't wait 10 million. I break.
yes,
I can't wait 1 million.
yes.
And you're saying I got to find somewhere to sell my behind to make 10,
No, you know that.
9 million to give you.
No, if you
I trying to
can-
understand how you gonna get
Right,
9 million.
Yes, because if you do not,
Valencia.
if you cannot the fine,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
because every single offence carries a fine.
Right.
Everyone.
We can't afford it. Fine. Give me that one.
Right. If you can't afford it, then you will find work for you to do. Right? You
So
go and
community
seek the
service.
road. you will find work anyway.
So-
You'll find work. And what we
Hold
get
on,
then
hold
is free the
So you enabling people to thief?
no.
But hold on, but if I thief a million. But no, I charge if I thief a million.
Yes, million.
You make me do community service for a million? Okay, I would do.
No, he said 3 years is fine.
So let's say
They can't pay back.
Yeah, so let's say the Empire Theatre. Instead of spending all this money to go and do it, you get the labor free. And that is probably our labor material of 50-50. So therefore we get it for half the amount.
Okay.
Because we have persons like you on the construction site working for us,
Right.
we give a stipend,
Right.
and we get that done.
But
As well as
But slow down that there. But what I'm just saying, but what I'm sorry to understand is,
yeah, so you broke it off.
but Grenville, what I'm saying is, okay, if I carry a million, I just asking hypothetically, if I carry a million, yes, I can't pay back. You make me go and fix the Empire Theatre. How much time I got to fix the Empire Theatre?
Well, until
To the value.
until it's finished, and then you go and work on the NS
So I have to work off $1 million within my
You
lifetime.
are the one that chose to steal the money.
Right, but yeah,
Therefore,
okay.
you work it off.
So I gotta work off
Right,
$1
that's
million. I go. Wait.
Yeah, you get no. If you have $1 million, we could be.
I can spend $1 million.
You probably have a house or 2 houses that we just sell one and
Alright,
pay
but
it off.
Grenville,
Yeah,
based
yeah,
upon
but-
yeah,
based upon this,
More rough, yeah.
which right thinking thief
Will not carry
you
the
think you think will come up and say I
Oh,
did a bribe
good
for
question.
10,000,
Oh, good question.
3,000.
Yes.
I came to pay back $2.5 million on it.
Yeah.
Which thief you know that can do it?
Good. So that's why I said, let me just explain briefly our crime policy, which is then linked to the corruption, because corruption is crime.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So let's set this here. So for the first 3 months, once we get in, for the first 3 months, it's an amnesty of sorts, where if you have received or given a bribe, you come and pay back the value of that bribe. Both the receiver and the giver must pay the full value of the bribe for 3 months. After 3 months, the penalty is then 10 times. However, if you come and not waste the court's time, so it doesn't go to court, and you can settle at 3 times. 3 times the value of the offence, right? So if you're going to steal a cell phone for $1,000, you steal a cell phone for $1,000,
Yeah.
then you pay back $3,000, because if you don't go to court,
3 times.
right? So you get a lawyer and you negotiate a settlement 3 times, and it's the person that gets part of the fine is the actual victim. Because right now, this is a revenue generating mechanism. All these fines are revenue generating. They go into the consolidated fund. Nothing goes to the victim. So one times the value of the fine goes to the victim, and then the other ones go to the court.
Yeah, the court.
Right?
So you mean restitution then?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. But when it's 10 times, then 2 times the value goes to the victim, and 8 times goes to the court.
So let me in a market.
No, and the reason for this though is that I do not want my taxes raised to pay for the court system. It must be paid for by the offenders.
Okay.
And therefore, it's a way to self-finance the court
So you
system.
never saw
So
any-
therefore, you don't increase taxes on
Never saw
people.
any legal advice for the crime plan that you have, especially as it relates to this thing we call disproportionate sums. Because not lawyers, so I don't know any lawyers who are tuning in could correct me if I'm wrong. If there are certain laws and statutes that are written when you do a crime, the punishment has to be relatable to the crime, and it cannot be disproportionate towards the crime.
Yeah.
So me stealing a $100 cell phone, you ask me to pay back $1,000 cell phone, I don't think that is quote unquote legal. They have to go and rewrite laws and change laws and change a lot of that stuff as it relates to implementing such a plan. So
Okay,
again,
that's a good point.
again,
Now,
but they do seek illegal.
No, but what I did,
advice.
I went and spent 2 years
Probably have a attorney.
looking at the court cases, and I continue to do it.
Okay.
And I found that that's generally what the fine is. The fine is about 10 times. Someone steals, some cash up or whatever, you got to pay back.
Like a funny bag is $500.
Or whatever it is, things that the fines usually are in that range.
Okay.
And therefore we're not far out. Right? So I think it's a workable plan. Now, getting
I
back
don't
to the
think it's
corruption now.
I don't think it's
the
workable
corruption.
though. I don't think it's
Fine,
workable because
but it happens now, it's workable now. That's what happens now.
a thief will come and own it.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Right now,
Yeah.
the teams that on
Yes,
that.
that's
don't
it.
know.
That's
I
it.
can't
That's
agree
what.
on that.
But let me
That's
explain
about
how.
allegation.
Let me explain.
Boy, are
how-
you
no,
even
no.
claiming that he didn't point any finger? He just said the teeth.
But it's
He
not-
just said the teeth.
But you know the team side.
That's an expression. The teeth are not going up.
We need to get some come to Jesus moments in Barbados.
So how are we gonna get those who have
Come to jail.
received bribes?
Receive, right?
Because that's the
But it's
point you're getting at,
corruption.
which is a very good
Corruption.
point.
Yeah.
And we carefully analyzed that and came up with this: that both the payer and the receiver must pay. Do we expect any of the receivers to pay? Of course not. We expect them to stay, lie low, and just continue to enjoy all the fruits of their labor. And if corruption is as bad as the reason that these claim, then that's why we pay back, to repay the bribe component of the project.
I can
Right?
agree with you.
Well, all right. Well, we can always check it out. That's why you pay land tax, to pay the bribe component.
You
of the
pay land
project.
tax or
If
you
it
pay an
is-
increase of land tax?
No, you pay land tax. You
No,
pay
no.
all these taxes that you don't
But you
need to pay.
didn't. But hold on, you equating?
Hold on,
Are you
hold on.
equating me paying taxes to the
Bribes?
fact that
Financing
it
bribes?
financing bribes?
All right, let me explain.
I
It
want to ask
finances the
you-
bribe component. So if the construction cost is $200 million, but the contract is signed for $400 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
A lot
Again,
of money,
that's generally what it is. If you go and check around the bribes that are paid, or I mean, you got
I
to.
never get an answer.
Well, yeah, but if that's why the construction industry is, that's where it's at.
So,
Right, that's where the corruption is at.
So I want to put
It's usually
Capital works
it could be
projects.
it could be up to 2 times the
I want to put
Yeah, we saw inflation.
multiply by 2.
So could we equate when we saw inflation in terms of when we saw government projects moving from one, if it was 18 million today, tomorrow it's 30 million, we can equate that to the corruption too?
If that's an actual project, I can't speak on it.
No, I'm
Right.
not saying this.
No.
I'm not saying I didn't call it, but I'm
Right,
saying
talk about a child
over the
project
years we've seen
in Lesotho. Talk about
Yeah,
one
even
from
the
the Democratic
Liberia
Republic
from
of the Congo. Let's talk about those ones.
But no.
I can't speak. I live in Congo.
Right, one show.
Because if you're a political leader, right, you still eating from the same system that you claiming to be corrupt.
You getting contracts, you getting
You get
benefits.
three contracts out of them.
Wait.
Alright, let me
You get
explain.
the contract.
I said the ones under the internationally funded agencies,
okay.
you're not going to find corruption there.
Alright.
Because if you do, and I'll explain. If we can get to this, right, go ahead.
You get in contracts from the same system you claim to be corrupt, right? People see your you quote unquote services into the same system as well, right? So you being directly involved in it and saying that's corrupt, will still benefiting from it. Then you're claiming that you not want to speak on it. You're still protecting the same corruption by choosing not to speak on it.
Right.
So how as a
You're
political
protecting the
leader,
asset.
how can a political leader
Yeah.
who claims to represent something withhold the information from the general public as it relates to specifically corruption, and people supposed to take you serious?
Okay, I'll answer that one and then I'll get to this. You may be aware there's something in Barbados called the Defamation Act. It used to be the libel, but that they changed that because the Slander and Libel Act that actually allowed you to prosecute someone if they were found doing something wrong. And you spoke about it. So there was a large loophole placed in the Defamation Act so that if you happen to have your cell phone up and you see some minister come in and a contractor come in and you decide, well, let me record this. And you record it. And you hear, oh, hello, Mr. Contractor, hello, Mr. Minister. I will, you have the job, if you pay this bribe. And the man says, or the man may say, I have a bribe to pay.
Okay.
And the minister accepts it. Or or someone accepts it. And you have it all, the audio is clear. The video is clear, and he actually takes some money and give him. He says, thank you for this bribe. I will make sure you get the job. Right? You have everything on your cell phone. If you publish it, you're charged with defamation.
Why?
That's the act. I mean, why?
So we're not
That's the act. That's the law.
We're not
That needs to.
and the court.
Not.
Grenville government parliament to
Correct.
be protected the same.
Yeah, but so that's the act. The act needs changing. right? Because the act means that even if you know all about corruption,
So the act is against whistleblowing, then, as we're saying.
pretty much, yes. If you say anything, you are then charged with defamation, and therefore you're contacted with the courts. Our courts are the most inefficient courts probably on the planet. We get slapped down by the CCJ all the time, which is why when Prime Minister Stewart talked about this lunacy about coming out to the CCJ, the only workable court we have, the efficient one. So I hope you all reject that one time. I haven't heard you reject it yet. So let me get to this point now. This is a very important point. How are you going to get the persons to come forward? That's the event to the story with my friend. I actually went to his wedding 30 years ago. Hates corruption, but he has to pay. And I share the what we find.
Let me explain. That's what he's saying.
He's a friend of another profession.
No, but let me explain.
Another country.
You're talking about large projects, 200, 300, 400, 500.
Yeah, but I think hold on, Doug Graham, but then going back to what Keymore is saying.
No, I'll address
No. I'm talking about the fact that he's saying that you know about the corruption. Yet you're saying in one breath that he's trying to protect his ass or his assets or his money by saying, okay,
I hate corruption.
I hate corruption, but that's $1 million project. I can't let that go along. Let me pay my bribe.
So that means guided by money.
So he's guided by money.
Right, so that's him, not me. I have never paid a bribe.
He should be guided by God.
Right, so I have never paid a bribe.
That's
I have
very
never
good.
received a bribe.
Okay.
That's why I'm aware another companies I'm involved in pay bribes.
Your friends.
Never. My friends,
If you say the guy's your friend, I mean.
No, but this is.
But you know,
it's not.
but
It's
you know,
not.
Barbados,
you understand.
but you know, you're also guilty by association. And another thing might cover as you might be working for companies that pay bribes that you probably know of and still working
No,
for
and
them.
I know that's what I'm trying to get at.
But you're still working for them.
Yeah, but
Wait, hold on.
no, let me. I'm
let
trying to
finish.
get at it. I'll try to be as transparent as I can.
Go ahead.
Without the AG coming after me.
Better tell you, me, I got work with AG.
No,
Oh, yes,
even if you
that's
want
the
to
point. That's the
everything,
point he's making.
even if you have it, it's all true. You'll still charge with it.
And he's
so
like-
let me get it. So, I shared it with him. He said, "Sure, I'll participate in this." So, if you have paid a bribe, they will come. We will write to every single consultant or contractor who's ever worked in Barbados since independence. They would come and pay off the bribe money because they hate corruption. They don't like paying the bribes, but they have no choice.
But
So,
the only way that you can get someone to this if you have proof. You got
let me explain this here because it's such a wonderful thing. And I talked to quite a few who just can't wait, chomping at the bit because it's like a sword over their head. It's like a sword.
So you're trying to say there's a number of people in Barbados right now?
No, not Barbados. Internationally.
Who done work with her for Barbados?
Internationally.
That done with Barbados?
Have done work.
I paid a bribe.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care nothing about international.
Right.
I'm talking about here in Barbados.
Yes, I don't want to go
I'm
into that one
asking.
too
No,
much.
I'm not asking you to go into
But
too
you
much.
understand it.
I just want to ask you
Okay, let's finish.
if you saying to me that there's Barbadians out there waiting to come forward.
Not Barbadians. Not Barbadians.
Not Barbadians.
But what
That's what I said. We write to every consultant and contractor who's ever done work in
Barbados.
outside.
Okay.
And tell them, come and get yourself sorted out.
Why?
If because we explained, when you come and get yourself sorted out, you must also state who you gave the bribe to, right? And then you only get to pay one time. Whatever you paid, you paid as a penalty, and then it's as if it never happened.
Okay.
Anyone that talks about it is defamation. It's done. You are paid your debt. But no, because we get to this part. It's such a wonderful thing. They then tell us who it is that they gave it to, and why would they come? Because the other party then, once the time has run out, they got to pay 10 times the value. So that's 3 months.
I can lost.
Yes.
But the question I want to ask is,
Well,
hold on, I want to ask something like Prime
Well,
Minister
well,
said. What the Prime Minister, when she became Prime Minister, if I start correct me, if anybody correct me here, I know that she would have given people, I think it was said that, come, you got time now, come to Jesus moment. So that, I mean, this is the same thing if I'm saying here that the Prime Minister offered out,
And
that there's a come to Jesus moment because when the pot start to boil and you in it, you cook.
Yeah,
So what I'm just saying to you, or what I'm suggesting to you, wasn't that also suggested by the Prime Minister, whether you be international or local, that you have your come to Jesus moment now, So what is so different from what is so different from what you're saying to what the Prime Minister said? Why she may not be putting it in? How you're putting? She said she gave on Parliament floor, I think it was. Persons could come to Jesus now, confess your sins, and be whatever happened. I know what gonna take place after that. Yes. What is so different about that compared to what the Prime Minister said? You compared to what the Prime Minister said?
Because ours is you come with your fine in your hand and you pay whatever you paid as a bribe, you pay that.
You pay back the bribe.
Yeah, in foreign currency, because it's always in national people. So that's it. Then we will know then who the locals are that got the funds. And then we will send the policeman to them and say, listen, you don't want to be arrested on this, so just come and pay your 3 times now on top of the lawyer. Otherwise it's 10 times the value. So you go and you sell one of your houses and you
that's
pay most things, most effective solutions are extremely simple. Not simplistic, but they're simple. It's not simplistic, it is very
But
simple.
it calls for a lot of legislation and policy to change.
Grenville, I have an issue with you saying, right? Because first you were saying that people do projects for $200 million and charge $400 million.
In some cases.
In some instances, right? Now you have totally ignored a lot of facts inside that statement. Right?
Where is that Germany gonna drop?
No, hold on.
I'm not saying all,
Hold on. I know you're not saying all.
I'm not Barbados,
but I want you to be
Democratic Republic of Congo.
You can't compare the Democratic Republic of Congo to
But he being
right?
Yeah. Don't let me. I don't want to put mine to the legal nothing.
But no, I'm not playing anything.
Don't put anything like that.
I'm being realistic here.
Let me talk about Congo.
No, hold on. I'm being realistic here. I remember I was building a house, right? Under the last administration, right?
Take you that long?
No, I can be straightforward. I was quoted one price for the project. Right? This is the amount it would cost. Remember the NSRL got implemented.
Yes.
Overnight, merchants in Barbados rose their prices in some cases by double. Right? Now,
Double?
yeah, double.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so a piece of wood that was costing say $10 overnight meant to it cost $20.
It's still probably called $10, no?
No, but hear me. They said it cost money, right? So, if it was quoted $100,000 as this is what we cost, this is what it cost to do this project. After the taxation went on, the price went up from say 100 or 150. They got issues that happen in the world, such as oil, right? That impact in Barbados, right? So you might be doing a project in Barbados, and you're heavily dependent on import of raw materials, right? And all the prices gone up because of a war that started or something that flare in the Middle East. Prices go up. In terms of things like steel, the source that you're getting steel from, there might be some issue, and prices go up. So you can't just make these all blanket statements, right? About this amount of money and bribes, because
God damn, Mike, take
no, I'm not talking to you, man. I'm talking to I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you other than talking to Grenville, because I cannot allow Grenville to say that people may pay that a project in Barbados is for $100.
He did not say Barbados. The man said Congo.
But no, he said
But we got remember we got to protect him from any. I don't want that to be. Don't remember that. Let me be fair to.
But I'm at the 7 for long mark.
Right?
The for long is when you finish.
Yeah.
So let me just get there now. If a contractor or a consultant is convicted of bribery, they cannot tender on like World Bank projects for like 15 or so years. Right? They are consultants. Right? They're consultants. We go and look on the IDB website. And I know some of them. Right? So convicted of bribery. They don't want to do that. And that's why they will come running.
Have you ever looked
because they don't because they would rather keep working on $200 and $300 million projects every year.
I want to tell you that. Have you ever looked at the DLP and the BLPs, whether it be their manifesto or the current policies, and see if when the BLP or DLP had created their manifestos or their plans for corruption or plan, have you ever looked at it in a way that see if what you're saying is anywhere along the line in some corporation? Have you ever looked internationally to see if any of what you're saying is already implemented successfully and working in another country like Congo?
Yes. There is the whistleblower concept, which works quite well in the US. So our system is the whistleblower, after the 3 months has finished, and therefore you are not paying a penalty, the whistleblower gets a reward of the same amount as the bribe. Because you're paying 3 times. 1 time goes to the whistleblower, and then 2 goes to the system.
Right.
So therefore, there will be a great incentive then for people to go, and who knows, the tellers know. They see the deposits going into the bank, right? Lots of people know, but they can't say anything now, because if they say anything now, defamation.
Now we're on the point of contracts, right?
Oh yes, I'll do
Before you get to contracts, you mentioned that you against corruption.
I hate it.
You mentioned that your friend who also hates corruption but still pays to get what you want.
Our profits from it too.
Now, what about working for companies that you know for sure corrupted, and you're assisting them in the jobs that they're doing based upon actually having paid a bribe?
Yes, like being a
So it's like you're against it, but still you're helping one
that's
doing it.
You're right. So if you are a subcontractor or a consultant to a large consultant who is doing the work, and we have a little piece, we've walked away from those already, right?
Okay.
If we detect anything even remotely,
you walk away from some, because there's some
there's
others
that we don't know about, right? But if we detect anything, we walk away.
Okay.
Was it detecting facts,
You just
mechanism?
feel, or you heard something, whatever it is, anything, any whiff.
But then you put it.
Maybe, or you walk through a certain place and you smell of marijuana.
But you're saying, what is that evidential? What is that
It might
evidential?
not even be true.
But you can walk in the place, garden, and the place smells stink, and you could say, it got garbage, and it was a man that walked past you a fart.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what is it?
Therefore we lost.
But no, right? So I mean,
lost
like, but what lost?
Yeah.
Are you not wrong in the way that you might be blaming? Because you're saying that, no, I as a public figure, and people say I carry homeless money. So that means then,
I have not heard that.
yeah, but if you probably will ever hear it at some point in time, right? But so I'm saying to you, then that means then for you to have to come on to show, then you will probably have cancer by saying I was a thief. You might hear that Simon is a gay person. So I'm just saying, is it based on the fact that you hear and say, but there's no proof in the saying that but you're saying I can walk away from a contract because he's a thief. Is that fair to the person? Because it might be speculation, as in Kimar and Simon are both known to be very politically affiliated and are potential candidates in upcoming election. So a lot of things will come out of the closet about them that probably ain't true. So what I'm saying is, does that then stop you from ever doing business with 2 of them because you hear he's gay, you hear he carry money, you hear he's this and that? Is that a fact? Because you're saying your mechanism is based on how you feel.
Alright, let me explain. Regardless of person's morality or absence of it, doesn't stop me from doing work with them.
But that's what you just said.
No.
You just said your mechanism is how you feel.
Bribery. We're talking about bribery.
Yeah, but your driving mechanism is how you feel.
Yes, alright.
You have a feeling of bribery.
No.
That way out.
But listen, Grenville, somebody also is saying here that that a known company in Barbados that pays bribes that you work for.
You work for?
Yes.
Obviously,
well, there's no speculation.
No, but that
we got to delete that comment.
Because I'm accustomed to political operatives just talking garbage.
Okay, we can't have that.
Utter rubbish. Right? So I've had it now for the past 4 years. Just talking garbage.
Okay.
Right?
So therefore, any corrupted business that you know of, obviously you would do a walk away from the company.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. But again, what had me baffled is how do you determine? Because we've only had one former minister that was ever charged in bribery in a long time. Allegedly, sorry.
But no foreign minister would ever charge him.
But hold on. But I'm just saying, it was only one, and that seems to me have been one of the. I'm not privy to the court. Have been one of the most public bribery cases here.
It sounds true, bro.
Right. Well, it is alleged at this time. What I'm saying is, what do you have in place to say that if somebody come and tell you the man is a crook, he's bribe people, what mechanism? Because if the reason why I'm asking you, pressing you for this question is, you can't be sitting here as a person that's saying to me that you want to be the next election and hopefully be the Prime Minister of Barbados someday, right? Now, if you become Barbados, if that is a big if, too, in my book, because third parties not knowing to raise above in certain places. What then what's your mechanism to say that you're gonna capture him? Because you can't just tell me as a Prime Minister. I feel frightened now as a Prime Minister, somebody can't tell you that Kimar Shafi carry home this money and they done in Barbados.
But legally your lawyer will say the burden of proof is on them to prove.
Yes, of course.
But no, you're.
But there's damage reputation.
Right, so our system is the person will come from overseas. Contractors, consultants who want to keep working on these large $300 million projects every year, as opposed to being shut out of all World Bank projects.
Shut out of all.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, long time. Actually, somewhere 25 years, some ridiculous things. So those banks
come down hard on corruption. So when they come now and say, well, yes, here is the bribe, and who did they pay it to? Well, they paid some to him, and him. Right? You've got the evidence, yes, here's it. Here's the checks, here's whatever it is, they bring the evidence. Then that goes, so we're not in a witch hunt. You know, someone says something, you say something and you go see the evidence.
Okay.
So you choose due process.
Yes, and the simple process is not us searching out, it's us simply, the person comes, not to me, to whatever department, leaves the evidence, pays the bribe component of the fine, and then the forensic accountants then will go and sort things out.
Let me get to my
self-funded,
questions.
right? Not costing us anything. Yes.
You might ask some questions.
Yes.
With your permission, of course, I will be a candidate in your political organization. There are some facts that I would like to speak to, of course, if you don't mind. No.
Well, if it's to do with, but it's to do specifically with what?
Solution Barbados is still a party, though?
Yes.
How much candidates do you have?
The president?
Yes, 17. And we have 15 declared candidates. We have the most outside the BLP.
So
the BLP.
15 currently at this present moment?
Yes.
Where are they?
Where's your headquarters located?
I don't need it all that, but where's this?
We are there?
Yeah.
I mean, we just been seeing you near you.
Well.
Are they? Okay. Can you announce any? Can you call any names?
They're on.
Where they are?
Yes.
Where they are?
They are on solutionbarbados.com. They have been there for all the time.
Right, I'm glad you would have brought that up. Right.
Yes.
And I'm glad you have your attention. No.
Yeah. We always had it.
Right. But listen.
What's the website?
Listen to me. When it was in Solutions Barbados,
Top candidate.
You really talk about contracts, right? And
yes.
once you hate corruption, you know corruption.
Yes.
Now, while it was there, you had a contract in place.
That's right.
When I first joined the party, there was no mention of signing any contract, right? Along the lines that you brought up the issue of signing a contract, then you put it to bed. And at least 2 to 3 weeks before election time, you pop back up.
No, not at all.
Oh my God!
That's not correct. That's not correct. This was back before Christmas.
Alright, let me finish.
2 to 3 months.
Let me finish, because they have facts to back up this statement. You popped up 2 to 3 weeks before elections, right? And you made it mandatory. You made it mandatory that any person who does not sign the contract, right, will not be able to run in the next general election.
The next one, this one coming.
The previous one.
Oh, the last general election.
Yes, right. And
not wrong.
I made some mentions to you about the contractual arrangement and what's not. I would have put it out there that political parties this side of the hemisphere do not sign contracts of such ilk, right? And your reasoning was that you are trying to have like a zero possibility of corruption, or we would call it solutions being implemented towards government, right? And I think I can read it here for you. FI betrays solutions Barbados by not voting for the solution in Parliament, whether by voting against, abstaining, or deliberately abstaining, or joining another political party, whether formally or informally, or becoming an independent candidate. Then they will pay Warburg College, and you can explain what or who Warburg College is.
You will get my for Joe.
The Barbados dollar equivalent of $1 million US for each act of betrayal, right?
One.
That's not the standard. Alright, go ahead.
Let me hear you reply. Yeah, chance.
I want to finish so he could get all the facts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, go ahead.
This is just to expound upon your corruption. You talk about you spell with corruption and the contracts and what's not. Now, when the contract first came up, you started with the idea of $250,000.
That's true, Grenville.
That's where it started.
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
It's still there.
And then I told you, well,
Yeah.
sir, there are some issues I have and I'm watching up with the contract and such. And then you say, okay, well, no, the price is now $500,000.
That's
I
true.
said,
Because you
well,
question
sir,
it?
And I said, well, sir, we're having some further issues with the contract. I watched and he said, okay, well, no, the price is now $1 million.
This sound like a Walmart shop.
So
So let me just shut your mouth.
But he got 2 million.
I would encourage you know to expound upon those facts, right? And if you can,
Yeah.
because I have the facts here. So if you can, bring one of the contracts from one of the earlier members who signed upon when you first brought the issue and compare it to my US $1 million.
Do you contract it?
Yes, it's right here. You could compare it to that. I compare it to the one that initially first signed.
So what's your thought on, what's your
So
thing
we
leading to
explain-
corruption,
Yes.
Kimar?
No, let me explain it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, okay.
What's the reason why you call it corruption?
Well, according to him, this is his way of combating corruption.
Right.
So I'm trying to tell him that his way of combating corruption is illegal against the laws of Barbados.
But you signed it, right?
Grenville, you're gonna answer that one now.
I can answer
Because
that.
you're being accused of being against the law now.
No.
I could answer that.
Yes.
I could answer
Let me
that.
ask you a question. You can
No, hold on.
answer.
Leave it, Grenville.
Go ahead, Grenville.
Come on, Grenville.
We were on, and still are on, the edge economically, right? Getting ready to fall over the cliff. We were at 100, when we started out, it was about 120% GDP in debt.
170.
120 when we
It
started.
was 120.
When we started,
Oh, when your main solution started?
2015, yes.
Oh, okay.
So coming up, realizing that it's so much debt.
Give more out of
We
it.
were on the brink of economic ruin, which means that we still are.
Yeah, for sure.
It just looks good now because it went up to 170, it's back down to 150.
You went up to what?
But about 170 or so.
What did the Dems?
I can't
Well,
remember.
never. But the thing is
Okay.
that it went up and now it's come back to
Right.
125 or so.
Oh, you just
So it's still-
said
Late develop,
No,
late
but
develop.
right.
Or late develop, you can correct all that
So we
crap.
are in great economic difficulty. These solutions were designed to give us economic growth without austerity.
Okay.
So only, however, if they were implemented. We've not had good role models in terms of persons saying this is what we're going to do and actually doing it. So we didn't want people to come. Plus, we had heard that other parties sent people to us. And
Spice?
Yeah, basically to run as
Oh.
candidates. And then they intend, if they get in, to go back to their other parties.
So what would have made your party
no, but that
so?
no, but that did happen.
No, what would have made your party the party that people wanted to send people to infiltrate? Why? Why? Because there was BIM, Barbados
Yeah,
Integrity Movement, there were
Yeah.
UPP.
There were 12.
Yeah, but
11, sorry. 11
11,
parties.
but yeah, they were also Alex and
Yeah.
all those guys. But what would have made Solution such a party that we fear it so much that we need to infiltrate it to make sure that if Grenville can see like he can win?
No, maybe they've done it to all parties. Who knows? Maybe it's just a strategy.
So you said
So I
Joe
don't
was a
know.
strategy?
Who?
Joe was a strategy?
Joe?
And that crossover?
Maybe we can discuss that.
I'm just asking.
You
You
want.
said you infiltrated it.
Well, I don't know, but since it did happen to us, and therefore we had candidates, we realized, all right, who they were, and they left. So we know it did happen. So then we did this to make sure that when you got in, even if you were a plant from somewhere else, even if you were a B or a D, at least you will vote for these policies. You don't have to. So you signed a contract because the amount was for $250,000 US because that was the bribe amount that I think a company paid US politicians $250,000 US. That's Beco, and the fellow was sorted out, and Beco worked in Barbados. So we decided $250,000. That's the standard. And that was, we voted on it.
As in everybody will be part?
Because it went into our constitution.
So Kimar voted on it too?
I don't think, by that time, Kimar, because he was sometimes in and out, so that's what thing. Yes, no, it's true. It's true. Yes, it's not really it's true. So we had a constitution. It's written into the constitution. It was unanimously voted. That's what the party wants.
250.
Not 250, the whole constitution.
But 250 we did it with 250.
Yeah, 250, yes.
But wait is 250, but then we see one over $1 million.
No, I'll get to that then.
Yeah.
So since you brought it up and you want to discuss it, fine. Eventually, some persons were concerned about
the amount?
Not the amount. It is more that they could not join another party. That was it. Because they thought that the Constitution of Barbados, and again, this is all fact. The Constitution of Barbados allows you to join any party or any organization. You cannot be denied on it. So
therefore you're taking away
the Constitution right. However, the Constitution also states that a person can agree to give up that right. And that's why you don't join Spartan and Empire, club. You join Spartan. And if you want to go and join Empire, you give up your membership and go and join Empire. You don't join the Bs and the Ds and the UPP and big
I know people that are part of your party and the BLP, their UPP and their solution. And they
were, but not the total solution.
Trust me. I know people that fill out your application forms early.
That
join the party with you.
Yes, well, the case is not right? But the thing is that we there, so that even if you go and join another party, whatever you do, you need to vote this way. And therefore, you may be tempted to go. No, but you can on other things. You can
on other things.
Because we listed our core. That's why in the Constitution, in the contract, it states these are the things that I'm going to sign off on.
But and some of them, you said the 250 was constitutional. So how then you get to $1 million? Did you amend your constitution?
No, I'll get to it. Because you're ahead of yourself, but I'll get to it.
Seems like you're offering this young man.
No, not at all.
So what party?
He really dance though, so
yes. You asked you to develop quick.
Yeah, but yes.
Develop quick so the audience don't get sleepy.
Right, so some persons were concerned about that, and we showed the Constitution of Barbados does allow you to join one party, right? With your consent. You can read it. Just go and Google the.
Alright, we get that.
But then some says, look, we just don't want. We want to rethink this contract.
Okay.
Let's rethink the contract. It's because it went into that. Certainly, it started there and it rolled into let's rethink the contract. And not everyone, just a few. So we said, fine. For 2 weeks, because from the time Solutions Barbados started, everything was decided by majority vote. When it was just me, it was just me. But then as we got more members, it was majority vote. And 80% of the time I was saying...
How many members you have?
I said it's...
12.
No,
I
know, but that's...
We
have it was 17.
Not the candidates. I want to know how many members the organization
No, we haven't. We've decided... Because we're going to...
You don't have any membership.
I'll get to that then.
I won't mind asking you to just develop faster, because the audience get really sleepy.
We keep going into
okay.
the rabbit holes. So some decided, look, let's rethink this contract. Because I don't think we need to have a contract.
Right, we get that point.
So I said, fine. You have 2 weeks or so to convince the rest of us. And therefore do your best. Right? And therefore for 2 weeks they did their best and gave all the arguments. People gave counter arguments. At the end we agreed what we will do is we vote on it. And the majority will rule. If you want to...
And what was the vote?
What
was the vote?
But the vote was, I think, only 3 people decided that they didn't.
So you moved
Right, but we tried to get...
So that's then what happened.
Right, we want you to develop fast.
Right, so what happened was that there were some then that decided, all right, even though we had agreed to a majority vote, and whatever the majority wanted,
See, all they're sleeping now.
they decided they are rejecting that. Right, so they therefore proved themselves untrustworthy. You can't trust them because they said, yes, I will, regardless of what the vote is, I will abide by it. But then when the vote came and it didn't go their way, they decided, well, I'm not doing anything. They left it, right. Therefore they left it.
I want the $1 million, Grenville.
So in our constitution then, it also has, if you prove yourself untrustworthy, not leave. Anyone can leave and come back. That's all right. People have. But if you prove yourself untrustworthy by not agreeing to a majority vote, even if you agree to do it, then you have to deal with managing that risk, and hence you pay a higher penalty.
Which is
because you may be susceptible. Who knows? Some have 1 million, and those are those who decided. Only those who decided. I will agree with the majority vote and then decide whether I will not.
While I may not know Kimar's financial pocket,
position.
I know if he had $1 million to pay you.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. It is
yes.
That's the bribe that we expect him to receive. And therefore, he was not benefit from the bribe.
Here's your language. That's the bribe you expect him to receive.
Because it's $250.
Going in.
It's a normal bribe.
Going in that you're saying that my people in Solution Barbados are people of integrity. Well, you're protecting it, and we understand that you're trying to protect the persons from getting bribed. I feel like you already passed verdict on them that they will take a break. No, because that's what you're saying. That you said your word just now is that you can't. That's what you expect the person to take.
No, what to be offered. To be offered.
But I mean, like you. Well, I understand that you have a lot of people here. I can tell you half of you people live in millionaires. But what I'm just saying is to you, but you this high markup on these people was very high, but then you're saying it's constitutional, but then you're writing a contract contrary to constitution.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It is contrary to constitution.
Let's hear what Margot said, no?
Yeah.
That'd be an informal memory.
The information really is not factual, and I have the evidence to prove what I'm saying. And you know it's not facts either, because
Continue.
Suggested, as I told you, when you first brought the issue of the contract was put to bed. We all agreed there was no need for a contract. You said yourself, okay, there's no need for a contract. You came back just on the eve of it. We had a whole banter with it, and you know that it's facts as well. You came back and you say you're not allowed to run unless you sign the contract. Not going into the specifics.
And that's after you pay you one something to the treasury.
Oh, that was before.
I signed.
No, when you say he came back on the eve of election, that was after you paid your money to the treasury.
Before.
No, he turned up. He said, I don't want to go into all of that semantics.
Right.
The issue we're having really and truly is the means of the organization stripping the rights of its candidates.
I might infiltrate the people in the country if it had to be a power.
Yes. So I'm so it's not really about the personal issues that arose within the party. It's not a personal matter. This is wasn't a right thing, and this is what's expected of persons who want to be within the party. So my issue is the constitutionality of such contracts, which are not privy to persons coming into the organization, and then when you expect them to have a run, then you hit with it. If you refuse, okay, no, you pay $500,000.
What's the name of the chart? What's the name of the chart that the money has to be paid to?
Warburg College.
What is Warburg College?
Let me explain.
I don't want you to develop. Grenville, I want you to develop these questions quickly because I got people on here that get sleepy. So we got to speak fast so that you know. And we got other topics that we want you on to. So you know, violence in school, which is the headline. So let me close this up,
Move on.
and move on to other things.
Agree.
Right. Let me just get that question again. Because you talked about so many different things. So what was the question that you wanted to ask?
You asked him about Walbert College.
Oh, Walbert, right. So the thing was, we said that we would sign the contract with as many organizations as possible. So you sign it with, we tried to get you to sign it, if you remember, we tried to get you, we got to get
I was approached to sign it. What?
Not sign it.
No.
Just to the beneficiary.
Well, I was
of the money.
I was
Because you can pay everybody.
Here's what.
So-
I was approached as a charitable organization to be the recipient for one of the candidates. They tell me it was Scott Weatherhead if he was to default.
You were praying default.
What? I would have prayed the hell he default over again. I would have prayed that break over again. I would have been rich, right? But at the end of the day, what I didn't appreciate about it was that to me it felt like, and I was a big fan of Donald Trump. It felt like a Donald Trump moment that it felt like persons were being forced to handle what they didn't have. And that would mean also if a man had to sell his house and land to pay back this fine, that means that was what it had to be. So I did not want to be the organization receiving money under any circumstances under that structure.
Yes.
What I appreciate that you may have your rules within your parties and stuff like that. I feel that there was not a lot of clarity when I asked for clarity. I still did not know as a charity, head of a charity, what I was getting myself into. And I felt I was going into a battle with an organization and with my organization and a political party, which I really didn't want to associate with. So I said to the person, no thank you, because there was not a lot of information. Well, then I figured that is, well, then you came up with putting it into the organization because no organization wanted to sign. Or if people come up, others that will come up with their own charity and sign it.
So you're different. Each candidate had their own organization to put the money into.
They're going to choose. Yes.
If
5 minutes on this and we move off.
Right, so if you can get to 100 organizations, we have to sign contracts with 100 organizations.
Alright, so when the one he has Walbert College.
Right, because that's the start.
What is Walbert College?
Walbert College is a college that I established 10 years ago when it came.
He owned it.
Yes. So the money now is paid to you.
It was paid to the college, and then the college then.
You own the college, the money get to you?
What the college does?
Right. We train people, when we started in 2010 after the Haiti earthquake. So after the Haiti earthquake, I was as far as I'm aware, the only chartered engineer in Haiti at the time.
Okay.
I came back, and I trained few persons over there. When I left, only one got employed. So I returned to Barbados. I established a college, went over there, trained, everyone was employed. Also, I realized that I can't continue with the airports and the bridges and the large things. I'm going to dedicate the next 5 years of my life to houses. And therefore, I traveled around the Caribbean and trained about 1,000 people all over the Caribbean how to build houses properly. And you have to take the exam and their name.
But is it a conflict sense that
no, it's not.
Is it a conflict because you're benefiting?
No, I'm not.
The college is benefiting.
But the college is owned by you.
Right.
So therefore, the college the money is not we pay for the flights.
The money simply is paid to the college. The college then distributes it then to
all these others.
But it's owned by you.
So you control the money.
It's written into the college contract. It's written into
the college on the board.
Yeah, so it's written into it.
The history of
who? No. So it written into the Constitution. I believe. Or the contract. One of the two. Who the money goes to. So it actually says this. It will be divided in between. Like salvation, this and this. So even though you don't want to, even though you haven't signed, you still get it.
I don't get it. I would put down to get it.
That contract though says Walbert College.
Yes, because it would also have said vagrant society.
No,
And-
it
It would have said. It would have.
If I have accepted.
If accepted, yes.
So right now, what's the different one in Warburg College accepted?
No, others.
No, hold on.
But-
But his one, his, yes.
But his only has Warburg College?
Because his one was, we were waiting for
He
Kimar.
started his own charity.
No, we were waiting for Kimar to come on board, and after a long time, and yes, maybe soon before the elections, we still waiting for Kimar. Then Troy said, yes, I'm willing to sign. So fine, and then that's the only thing that was left.
You
I
said-
said, yeah, it was not enough time. But he could have.
I have one question to you, and this is my last question on this topic.
Alright, let me move on to
Right?
some other
No,
stuff.
this is my last question on this topic.
I make it 1 second
It's
in
one
cheating.
question.
No, I mean the
How
developing
many-
it.
How many people had to sign on to? Wait, is Warburg College? How many people had to sign on to that particular college?
No, so everyone signs on to that, and because again, it doesn't matter how much, because
Warren was rich, boy.
right, so everybody signs that they will. That's where the money
So,
will go.
so
not
realistically,
but
all
what
of
we're
Warburg
you-
will distribute it.
to distribute it.
Yeah,
That's
Warburg
what
will
that's
distribute
the
it.
mischief that he's trying to do. It's the Walter will distribute it. It's simply a clear.
But you want me doing your job?
Yes, well, yeah.
But you, but I have the solution?
Yes.
All right.
But if you understand this,
So let me move.
No, before we move on,
Go ahead.
we trust everyone.
Mm-hmm. Clearly,
But we know, yes, we do. We trust everyone. However,
Not a
we
million.
realize that even we
Trust
don't
is
know what's
expensive.
going to happen. None of us have been boss before.
We've not earned
We,
ball.
we saw what happened where people made promises and we trusted them, and yet they fell short.
But Grenville,
So what could? And the whole idea was this. Remember, this is everybody voted for this.
Grenville, you ever
Right?
thought that?
Everybody voted for this.
Everybody did?
But
Yeah,
Grenville,
but that's
That's
huge.
true.
Oh,
were
yeah,
they, but the question is,
time.
were they made to vote, or did they have to feel like if they had to vote?
No, they could. It was a secret ballot.
Seven said no.
A
You
secret
would have
ballot.
To only
Or
the,
not
who counted?
If they
Was
said
this?
no.
You brought in somebody to talk. Who called the ballot?
If 18 people vote, right? And is
No, it was
18.
right down what 20.
No. All right. So F
But who
is
counted?
30. It's 30 candidates,
You had
right?
somebody treasure.
F only 30 candidates, right? 20 of them said yes and 10 said no, right? Would you
It's a
allow?
majority. It's a majority vote.
So
That's what it always was. Majority. It's always majority.
So the
Right.
10
That's
would
what
be
it
off
is.
society.
So many
10.
holes and loopholes.
No.
Move on.
Yeah, let's move
Yeah.
on. So here's what. So we want to touch on the other thing as it
Violence
relates to violence in school.
But,
I really want about it. I tell you the question when you give it.
Go ahead.
We saw that recently they had the death of the young schoolboy, which is very tragic to
Yes,
Barbados, and it's I think one of the first of its kind. And we saw that you would have come out and you would have made the comment as to reason why this child had died. And one of the things that you start to list is attaching it to marijuana, and you start to ask questions in your comment as if this is marijuana, if it is time to look at the marijuana bill. Well, some people thought that you were trying to score cheap political points by using the death of the boy. You had to take down the comment because you realized and you understood that it was really a far-fetched or a insensitive comment rather. What is your take as you talk about violence in schools, but also why would you have post something like that, especially
What
in
do
a
you think?
sensitive moment like that as it relates to that young boy who just got or who just died in school? What is your take on that?
Right. So first of all, I started out. I wish I had the comment here now, but if anyone has to say it.
I can tell you comment because I post.
Yeah, if you have it there, yeah. No, if you have it there, we can read.
No, I don't have it here.
No, that's
Alright,
right.
well,
No,
you
that's
take
if you have it here.
You might take on it.
Right, but it was just saying it's time for us to have an honest conversation because I didn't.
I don't want what you would just say first.
Yeah,
I would like what you said.
That's
in
what he
comment.
said if I had it in front of me.
Right.
Well,
that's
what
journey
I
help
could
you
take,
then.
Yes, so if I had it, but but from what I remember, it started out just saying, look, one boy is, their time on earth is finished, and the other boy, his life has changed completely, right? And then wondering a number of things as
if the boy was on marijuana.
No, that I was just making the
I'm only going to the interpretation.
yeah, but because that's just wishing had it in front of me. But it was not to say that any of them, or certainly the boy that died, was on any marijuana. The thing was, right, I don't remember now. So I tried to find out what was causing people to have such a violent, not a violent, but more a fatal response to losing their temper. That was what I'm trying to find out. I lost my temper many times. Many people lose their temper, but it's not a fatal response.
But you constitute it to marijuana.
No, but then I said, well, let's look at some other things, right? Could it be this? Who knows, right? And the thing is that the police don't really investigate these things. They don't ask, well, were you on marijuana or not? We don't know. But something is causing our youth to give a fatal response to being angry.
But why do you think it was marijuana?
I didn't. Well,
that's what your comments say.
That's
your comments say.
All I said was that
I think we should have got a real last shot.
Yeah, but there is a link between aggression and marijuana use in youth, not in adults, right? But in youth. And since it's there, why not have an honest discussion about it?
But it sounded like you were adding the fact that this death in Europe. I'm just going by what it came across.
Yeah.
That you were constituting this death to marijuana, well, that had not even yet been proven, or well, still that was not even a topic up for discussion because nobody knew at the time what would cause the death, and only after then we found out that, well, again, speculation of what people were saying that it was related to gambling or other sort. I mean, so much stories came out, so much voice note came out. Who know what to believe?
But it's a fatal response.
But it was a fatal response. You associated it to marijuana in a way.
One thing.
In a way that it was you got hit hard on it because there was no evidence to substantiate that.
The influence.
I didn't say it was marijuana. I said let's have a discussion about it. That's all.
You associated it with marijuana, and I would tell you this because I commented it, and I remember specifically on that track. I said that you were insensitive, right?
You deleted it,
and that you weren't connecting dots.
I said I'll come back to it.
And I can explain this to you, Grenville. Right? I understand. If you want to have a discussion on drug use and marijuana use in society, I have no issue with that. But you cannot just out the blue,
blanket,
right? I call it out the blue. Get up on one child is alleged to have stabbed another child, right, fatally, and that child is now being held in custody by the government of Barbados.
By the police,
all right? No, by the government industrial school, right?
Or GIS,
right? GIS, right? And your first response as a political leader, because you said that you sent out press statements to the media and income, right? So as a political leader, your first response was you trying to cast aspersions on the person who is alleged to have committed the offense.
Before even
knowing facts. And I want you to remember this. Yeah. You are an engineer by profession, right?
Yes.
There are engineers in Barbados and outside of Barbados who smoke marijuana every day, right? Still do their job and are not violent.
Yeah.
Doctors, lawyers, all
we get that point. Don't let me create that point.
I just said that it was the youth. I'm not talking about adults.
Right,
with the youth. The link is with the youth.
But where's your evidence on that?
Where's your evidence?
I posted it. So also,
I did not.
Yes, I did.
Let me
so also, because you gotta remember, I also did not spread this. This was at that time. Everybody was commenting, making statements on their personal on their personal pages. They were making statements, saying all sorts of things. And I, not on Solutions for Barbados webpage, page. Not on copy it to all the other pages that I normally copy our press releases to. I just on my own page, my personal page, just not the most popular one.
The most comments you ever had?
Yeah, no.
That was the most comments you ever had, Garrett.
Everybody started piling on, but here it is.
That most comments you ever had?
It's time, maybe let's. And I didn't.
But to be honest and to be fair, you didn't write it like that.
No. When people came on,
you said on the comment that you like if this is associated, you comment read in the sense that you are associating the death.
No.
Well, you might
I
probably
said
have
it
met
investigation.
that way, but you had several
That's what I
points.
wrote.
You had
Yeah.
several
Several
points.
points. How do you know marijuana?
Even people like Corey Worrell and then
Yes.
carry it. You were being shared, and for people like Corey Worrell to share your comments is really mean that you had to piss people off, and it didn't really speak to the thing. Well, we understand we can bypass that sense that you can't right now remember.
Comparison of politics.
You can't remember that right now. What is your solution right now as a party to the violence for youth in school?
Thank you.
I would
No
so
need
that
to it.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I want your solutions.
Thank you. There.
Well, man, you're going to do it.
Yeah, no, like,
Give the man a chance.
yes. You need to put it on so much.
That's what they bring all about.
Yeah, right now.
That's it.
Yeah, so right now, how we address violence, right? How we address violence in school violence. You know,
Talk to me.
is we punish the students' academic potential, right? Because they are told go home.
Oh, suspension, right?
Suspension,
Right.
well, yes. So we are punishing you academically.
Right.
Okay.
That's your punishment.
Yeah.
Then they may come back to school, and when they come back to school, they are even further behind,
Okay.
right? Not so much if it was just like English literature, it was just going to read the book. But you can't do that with labs in chemistry and physics and biology, you know, and mathematics. You can't do that. So you're lost in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, so that's it for you. And I don't like that method.
Right. So what's your
Right.
solution? Give me the solution.
Right. So our solution is, and again, there are two types of fighting. It depends on the intent. One where you do not intend to cause permanent damage, and the other where you actually do. When you throw chairs or weapons indiscriminately, you actually intend to cause permanent harm.
Okay.
So we're talking about that latter one, not a little wrestling. So we're talking about, violence, we're talking about the latter.
Where we get that?
So how our solution is, at this point, given how things are with all the constraints that we have right now, is to allow the students to be afraid of missing school. That's right.
Free school.
No, because they have that now. But right now, they're not afraid of anything. They don't want to be at school, and if they fight, they're rewarded with an extended holiday.
Okay.
They go home for 2 weeks, right? So they're not afraid of anything. It's not like when I was growing up. When I was growing up, any infraction, a beating, right? But not now. Corporal punishment is reserved for the principal, and he doesn't really use it. He doesn't really use it. Yeah, the intent is to abolish it. So we throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Right. So just give me the
Right,
solution,
the-
right, bro. We get the
teacher
word
should
chase.
never be allowed to spank anyone. It should be the principal. And by the way, let's get
We should do that years ago.
Yes.
Tell me.
So, one, rearrange your curriculum. Because right now the curriculum is designed for the student that gets the information early, that understands it early.
Okay.
So if you understand it early, then the school system is designed for you. 60% or so, almost 80% I think, don't graduate with A's or B's, or 1s or 2s. They graduate with something else, like in mathematics. So they can't go on to university. So it's only designed really for the 20%. So we plan to design it for everyone.
And how we plan to design that, please?
Right. We plan to teach the easier to learn practical aspects of subjects first, like conversational language, conversational Spanish, then conversational French. I did Spanish, French, and Latin at school. Come here. I left without any practical use of it.
Okay.
It's only when I went to the Venezuelan Institute and learned conversational Spanish that I finally understood and I could use it. You could drop me in Venezuela and I could get myself around. After a little bit of instruction, because it's conversational, you don't have to have all the conjugated verbs correct, right? Even when we talk, we don't talk exactly perfect grammar, but we understand each other. And that's what conversation is. So the point was, you learn the easier to understand practical aspects, the marketable aspects of subjects first that you're excited about learning. Same thing, apply mathematics before theoretical, apply biology, apply chemistry, all the applied
So you're
parts.
saying to me that by teaching all of these remedial or conversational or whatever, basic to learn you're gonna see the crime rate diminish.
Yeah, let me explain. Because they want to stay in school. Because they're learning something. You're learning how to start a business, and you start a business and make money before you do principles of business. You learn to play the keyboard. Yeah, but that is, you don't make the money on that. Right. So you're talking about making real money.
Okay, they got children that I ain't interested in a class. I want to go and gamble. I want to go and
because they don't know that they can make money in an honest business, right? That's what we do. I teach people. We teach people how to make money with no money. The worst thing you can have
is $0 challenge.
No, well, the worst thing you can have if you're gonna start a business is money or access to money.
But what I want to try, is end the violence. How it end violence in school.
Right.
Good.
Right. So we are simply rearranging the curriculum. So you still have to do all the theoretical stuff. It's just that we don't do it like how we do it now, which is do the theory now, weed out those who are not supposed to be there, whatever, and then you teach the easier stuff later.
But that alone will not stop
I know that alone. That's it. So they do that. They learn their business. They're taught how to start a business with no money whatsoever, so that when they are ready to graduate, they have a viable business.
Is every child?
Every child.
But if they don't want to start a business, start a business.
But they're still taking the class. And again, once you start making money, you're going to want to do, because that's what you want. The worst thing that you want is to leave school, you go through the summer holiday after, and then you realize, shoot, now what? Right? I got to try and earn money, got to give child money. You have nothing. You have no skills. When they left school, and just a brief thing, when they left school, well, alright, go ahead. All right.
Listen,
go ahead.
I went to St. Michael's School, right?
Yes.
And this was in first form. In first form, on day 2 at St. Michael's School, there was a big fight. 3, I think, third formers were fighting with some 4th formers.
Yes.
And they were all sent home.
Yes.
For 10 days. 2 weeks.
Yes.
So based on your solution, right? First form. First week, second day, and you were kicked out of school until week 3, and if you go out by holiday, week 4.
Yes.
So how it works then?
Right, I wouldn't suspend anyone. I would simply do what the principal should do, what he's supposed to be doing.
What's that?
If you are caught fighting, because when I was at primary school, anyone caught fighting. Anyone caught fighting was given a merciless beating, and they never fought again. But what he did is that if you want to fight, you have to have permission. You have permission. I'll just tell you how it went. I'll just tell you the experience. So the permission was you had to sign up in the register. So you want to fight, and then he would organize anything on Fridays. Boxing matches. So you came. So
listen what you say, bro.
Again, I mean, you're young, right? I'm 55.
This is different.
Let me explain. So, you were given, your mouth guard, your boxing, helmet, your puppy gloves, and he would supervise.
This was legal?
Yeah. So he was.
It was legal?
Yes. So he supervised the fights. We finished. I had a few. Right. You win? Yeah. Not too bad.
Oh, we can.
But if you want to challenge me, I'll need to give him my hand behind my back or something. So, but yeah. So anyway, he's joking. But the thing is, in all seriousness, if you want to challenge me,
so Grenville, you're saying that this that
was effective also, and that was effective also whenever they come here. We finished. When they not that, but when you went to come here, the principal gave a serious beating to anyone doing foolishness.
But you can't.
And therefore, I never saw. But yes, you can, because the principal.
I mean, when it's abolished, so that's not even.
I know, but it's not abolished yet. It's not abolished yet. That's when it was time to talk about it. You don't wait until they abolish it and this everybody bring it back. We have it right now. Right now, the principal is allowed to.
So you're saying that
but not for any learning difficulties. I disagree with beating people if they can't learn. It's only for fighting.
But what do you call a serious beating?
A serious beating is a normal beating, just whatever. Yeah, just not killing anybody. But things after that, you go You go to the principal, you get 5 or 2 or 3
So
or that
solution
student,
Barbados
then you
supports
go back,
corporate policy.
and then you go back to the classroom and learn.
I want to hear your
You
Wait,
go
wait,
back to the classroom and learn because the students
stop.
that definitely need the most discipline are sent home with no
But
discipline.
Grenville, you know a child that just get beat 6 lashes, right? You ready for you go back to classroom to learn? He vexed. A child be vexed.
No.
How do you know?
Have you?
A child be vexed. A child will not.
But that doesn't mean that he's trying to go back.
No, so is that what you
You
saw?
check the child crying.
Is that what you saw?
I get the answer about
No,
class.
is that what you saw?
Yeah, you're right.
Is that
But
what you saw?
did you learn?
No, but
Yeah.
it can't be theoretical. Is that
But
what you saw?
a child get beat.
No,
But
sorry,
regardless, but the money,
is that what you
a
saw?
child, hold on.
That is what you saw?
Hold on,
Yeah, I'm
hold on.
asking you.
Yes, a child that get beat. Hold on, wait. A child that get beat
Yeah.
will be sad. They'll be crying.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
Because
he's
they're
gonna
angry.
learn. Doesn't mean he's gonna learn.
Because it got beaten.
So you think that the black class doesn't
Hold
learn?
on, guys.
It don't work,
Guys,
bro.
guys,
Yeah,
one
well, it's
shot.
some
One
cases.
shot. One shot. One shot.
I know. The man is
I think
passionate
you're
about
always
it.
saying.
But remember you-
Hold on, Kimar.
But we throw the baby with the
You're
bathwater.
Hold on, Grenville.
missing a very important aspect of the conversation, right? And that is the societal part, the social part of the issue.
And that's what we want you to get to.
Right.
Yes.
So the issue is homes, the
Communities.
family.
I don't want you to give solution.
I give you solutions. You should
I want
you should-
this is what you want to hear.
So, but, I don't think he understands this part either. So
That's so sweet, man.
That's alright. Listen to it. I said 4 years of this.
the family,
John
these
Deere
type of
20.
issues, understanding the pressures that a lot of youngsters face, right? So when you come to school on mornings, more than likely
You're hungry.
you're hungry,
You're
you
the.
can't concentrate. There's still a lot of, I would say, teachers who are not compassionate about teaching in the environment.
Emotional intelligence.
Right.
Yes.
Also, when you, from home, there's abuse from the parents, be it
Yeah.
physical or verbal.
Emotional as well.
Right. So when you come into the environment, I can use, I would say, the quote unquote upper echelon schools, for example.
Yeah.
So you will see we would call a less fortunate or a working class child coming into the environment is a way cross section of different people from different cultures and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have some people bringing to school lunch from home.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get money to buy from the canteen.
Yeah.
Different
what's not, what's
spectrum.
not. So if you're in a school that does not provide school meals, more than likely you would either have to ask one of your friends for something to eat, or you ask the teacher for something to eat. And kids are probably just like the parents, and they would not ask, but they would rather stand hungry, right? And that builds anger and resentment towards not only some of your peers, but towards your friends, the teachers, and the entire school system in general. So therefore, you're likely to gamble because you want money.
Or bullying, get into bullying.
You're likely to start taking away people's money.
Bullying, that's what
You're likely to start selling drugs at school. All of these type of things.
Some young girls sell the body.
Good. So,
Young
so
boys
all
do.
of these issues
Yeah,
come
young
into
boys do.
play. All these issues come into play in regards to violence in schools, right? So every attempt now just to say let's rearrange the curriculum, as you rightly mentioned, I didn't care about learning, I didn't care about school. I just focus on living. I just focus on
Day-to-day
getting
survival.
something to eat.
You look at the
So
environment that
a
comes
child is survival mode, interested in the school, the parents or what's not, because that child is being forced to be an adult at an early age. So you're having to grow up in that environment. I don't know if the gentleman here had that type of experience coming up, but it's a reality for a wide cross section of
Right.
children.
So that is what that's why I say.
Before I go.
Oh, that's why. Huh?
Just want to make a comment before.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at, Grenville, in terms of what is your. I appreciate the storylines and all of that there, but because of the time and we're going up to the 2-hour mark, I would really like to get the essence of what is like bullet points rather than storylines.
Yes. Yeah, but that's why I maybe I spoke too quickly. I said rearrange the curriculum so that you are now.
So that's one.
You're not
That's
in school,
number one.
not understanding. Number two, everybody starts a business. Because
Okay,
the main thing is
true.
because that addresses what he's talking
Alright,
about.
so that's
There's no money. Then you want to sell this. You want to do drugs. Why?
So
Because
the
you want
school-
money.
the school is
It's-
seven,
and that's
three.
right. That's why you cannot. That's why it's such an important point that it was bypassed.
Okay.
Starting a business and making like $500 to $1,000 a week. You don't have to go.
Yeah, don't go to
you
school.
don't have. No, you still have to go to school to learn to make more.
Sounds-
But I think
sounds
that's why it's so critical. Starting the
Number
business
three.
is the
Number
main
three.
thing. The principal must exercise do his role
His or her.
for
His or her.
severe her.
You saying he his?
Sorry, his or her. The principals must exercise their responsibilities of not sending children home for 2 weeks, but for serious offences like fighting, violent fighting, just sort the fellow out and then send it back. Now, if he doesn't want to run that,
Solutions Barbados is advocating corporal punishment.
That's me. We don't have corporal punishment on our solution. What we have in our solutions is the making money, because every student should be making money, so that they don't have to go and beg or sell their bodies or whatever it is. And every student should learn, and every student can learn. There's this thing going around where it's a complex information cannot be understood by some students. That's a lie. Every student can understand.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone. And we have that there from the college. I trained 1,000 of them myself. So I know, and a lot of them that come to us do not graduate from university. Sorry, from high school.
So
they don't.
What about
but yet they're able to pass the courses.
What about the principal that had asked for some evacuators and get your children to do some work in terms of farming and that kind of thing, or even in terms of growing produce?
Yeah, any business that they want. Oh, as a penalty.
They want that same charge.
That's useful. So yeah, you try those things, but you try everything. So you try that first then. So you leave the corporal punishment as the absolute last resort or resort. But you try all things, but do not send someone home before you've done it. Because I think sending home does more damage to their future. Right? It damages their future first.
Go ahead, Simon.
Right. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry that I got another engagement right now that I got attend to.
Life of a politician.
It was interesting to hear your perspective. I get the idea that some of what we heard was some of the policies or solutions, Barbados, but also some of your own personal views.
This spanking is my personal view.
Correct. I think what is important for all of us to understand is that ideas are good. Everything starts with an idea, but over time it's important that you grow the idea. Not necessarily grow the idea, but understand the context in which we are living in terms of how Barbados is changing. And sometimes I think one of the things that people would have said about the Democratic Labour Party at one point is that they didn't feel as if they were in touch with what was happening in Barbados.
We're not.
They actually still aren't.
Right. That was just one criticism. What I want to say really is that for any political party to be relevant, it is important that they offer, of course, solutions that people can see are actually relevant to the time period that they're in and the realities that they face. Attainable to, they're basically smart, but more so relatable to people. And that's one of the things that even within the Democratic Labour Party we got to do. We have to make sure that whatever solutions we have for the economy, for example, are really practical, that can actually work. Whatever solutions that we have for education, for green energy, are actually practical. So I want it's
coffee hours.
To me, but it don't seem that he agreed.
Right.
It works.
I'm trying to be very diplomatic.
You're trying to be more fun than like it doesn't work. We don't want to hear that.
You don't need a point. You don't need a point.
You wanted Democratic Party for a couple years to say
no, for sure not. But what I'm saying is,
I don't agree with your policy, your solution.
Not every solution. I mean, that's why it's important. Not everything that you say I would agree with and so on. But for those persons who are watching, they will want to have an understanding that, after the program, but you know what? I have a better understanding what Solutions Barbados stands for.
I clearly don't want to see me.
Right. And what will be their vision for taking Barbados forward. Okay. So that's there. And also for the Democratic Party. And I'm hopeful that my party president could be on the show sometime.
Again,
But
unless you got that party president, your party president was supposed to come on the show after she announced which country she's running for. Up to now, it's like she's
which constituency are you running for?
St. George North.
St. George North.
So Grenville is like you can see it boldly and plainly, and you're confident that you're running against St. George North. But still, we don't know where the piece is running from.
Politics is all about timing.
I'm not religious.
Or your
Candidates. She will ask when she's ready.
Or your candidates, Grenville, because we haven't seen any of your candidates.
Yes, I just told you solutions probably, so come you see.
Yeah, but you keep hiding them. We seen.
Alright, guys, I gotta make a move.
You keep hiding them on
It was good. It was good being here. All the best, man. All the best. You want more?
Tell her, because I reached out to her before. I said, look,
She probably watched this. Just tell she.
yeah.
Tell Bruno direct.
Look at our policies. If there's something that you disagree with, let us know. Right? That's why they were there. They were published 4 years ago. They've gone through rigorous scrutiny by the public, and they've been approved.
By the public.
But Grenville,
Yes, and therefore they're there.
is it really how to speak to?
Well, like, because I was on the platform with her before, because we debated each other or discussed things with each other. So, remember?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I was, and others, so we were on, Brass Tacks, we were on different shows, and CBC, you were at BCC, on the platform together, and so, we sort of know each other. I said, let's go and let's discuss.
Let's go see, Grenville.
Don't worry, man. I'll let you send. I'll let Vernon know.
No, but then I understand. This is political, so that's how it is.
You're very interested in my
How
program.
do you feel about youth in particular? Not when I say youth, not school kids, but I mean 18
overall.
to 40.
Yes.
How do you feel about youth participation within the economy and basically trying to develop themselves to be fashionable gentlemen and women in society, particularly as it relates to the holding higher office? Because I said it was a candidate in your party, so give Barbadians a feel.
As you giving out your membership?
Yes, for sure. Give Barbadians
Thanks. I respect
I was thinking I'm a member too.
Give Gordon my regards.
For sure.
Give Barbadians a feel of your regard for younger people entering into politics and political leadership.
Right. The youth have a great role to play. I have to be careful how I say this one now.
You sure it's be?
Yeah, because I'll have to explain it.
Go ahead, give you time.
Yeah, good.
Not forever, but
the people that we train in the college, they said 1,000 across the Caribbean, they're mostly adults.
Okay.
Because the youth are still learning. This is a professional grade. Once they come to the college, they're trained, then they're examined. And the minimum pass mark in Solutions Barbados, Barbados College is 100%. You have to get everything right.
The minimum pass mark is 100%?
Yes.
You
have to get everything
you can't get
correct, because you cannot take good quality sand and stone and cement and mix it with water and put it into performance with steel reinforcement bars and forget to compact the concrete.
What's the maximum pass mark?
They are the same. Right.
So,
no school for you.
Let me explain, because I said it's professional grade. When you're at, I'm getting there. It's pretty important that you understand this. At university, you get 90%. You're celebrated by your professors.
Okay.
You get 95%, they call you a genius.
Yeah.
Right?
You are?
You get yes, you are a genius at university. You get 95% in the professions, you're a failure. Right? No one wants a 95% surgeon operating on them. No one wants a 95%. What's that?
No one is perfect.
That's it. No one is perfect. That's why you cannot come out of university and hang out a shingle and call yourselves like an engineer or some profession like that.
You get 100% all your tests?
No, my test. That's academics. I said.
No, in academics,
right.
You get 100%.
Of course not. Of course not. That's because that's what I tried to explain to you. That's university. At university, you get whatever mark you get, right? Okay. So you could do your 60% that you graduate, like a lawyer or whatever. Then you come out, and then you hang out because lawyers are different. They can then come right out, hang out their shingle, and then start offering their services to the public, even though they're demonstrating their last test, they're 40% of the material they don't understand, right? Whereas in engineering and other professions, you first have to go and be supervised for 4 years before you can even think of applying to be an engineer. And after you've applied, then you could be sent back to go and get some more training because you have to be consistently 100% before you are let loose on the public. That's how it is in the professions. As I said, Warwick College is professional grade.
Well,
is 100%.
Yeah,
People come and say you got 98%, yes, but you fail. Because we cannot now put you out there in front of the public.
So all 1,000 people that you train so far 100%?
No, only 400.
But
again, not everyone, because again, we were simply training construction supervisors, senior artisans, that. Because we are a construction college. It's just construction mainly that we do. But then we have others that came
for free for me this way.
Yeah, someone here said unless you do a CBQ or NBQ.
You could do what?
Yes, I know. That's why I said those. They are trying to link those, but before it used to be the apprenticeship system.
And yours is accredited, right? Yours is accredited.
Yeah,
courses?
we are.
Excuse me.
That's why it was just in town. Was it last week? Because they invited everyone who's registered with them to come and showcase their wares.
Okay.
But again, you can always call them.
But we want to see how the youth. So
that's what I'm trying to get at now.
And funny enough, Kimar was like the only youth in your party at the time, because I know you had a stipulation where you had 100, you had to be over a certain age, you had to earn this amount of business.
No,
I mean, it was there, it was public.
I don't have an age requirement.
No, I mean, you don't have an age requirement, but you limited the person had to own at least 25 businesses, 25 years in business. They had, hold on. Your criteria was
right.
It was at first it was 25. You lessen it.
No, you said that a lot of our candidates had 25 years of business.
Right, but you lessen it. So Bob said, but I'm disputing that. Yeah. I disputing the fact that even though, you speak on a topic such as youth, the only youth in there was Kimar story.
Yes, right. Well,
and you had 10 years in business.
Yes, because
he even had 10 years in birth.
Right. Well, because that's been messed up quite a bit, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to explain it. When we first came, I said, all right, the first batch, right, 10 or so, we want to make sure we have like 10 solid people
who have experience in business, who have experience in paying staff for about 10 years. So you've gone through some of the cycles of like a depression. You've gone through it, and you know what it's like to go on having to pay staff when paying all your taxes and all those things. You know what it's like. So it's not an employee. Those first 10 that we wanted were employers to help, fashion the policies, because we have to try and let the country make money, not to gather, not take all the time.
You was bringing technocrats or politicians?
We are hiring persons that have experience to solve problems. That they demonstrated that they can solve problems.
You do realize,
No, before you go there, because then we don't get to deal with this. After that, it was whosoever will, right? So it was whosoever will may come, and therefore we accepted anyone, no age, no gender, no kind of requirement, just come. The only thing that we ask, and you can verify this, is you had to know the Lord, and that's mainly because our Constitution speaks to we acknowledge the sovereignty of God. That's what our Constitution says. That we as a people acknowledge.
When you say know the Lord, define what you mean with that. Because almost all of us in Barbados know the Lord.
Right. So that's it. You say, but once you say yes, I know the Lord. I know Jesus. I have a relationship with God.
Lord and Savior.
Jesus is the Lord.
Do you have to be
any clock or not?
No. So not those kind of things. Just that you know the Lord. And we ask everyone, and you can confirm this as well, because when Scott brought you to me, I just asked you one thing.
I asked you to do one thing, one single thing. You go and you talk to God yourself, and let God instruct you whether you should be with us or not. You got 11 parties out there. You decide. So you go and seek the Lord, and you came to us as the most devout Christian, and right away, unlike the others who took a week, maybe or 2 weeks, and went and fasted and went before the Lord. Right away, you came and says you have spoken to the Lord, and the Lord has told you. To be there.
I come to one of your sessions, right? The Lord you worship session was long. I was just a guest, but I was there about 2 hours on the outside God, and he was still in there singing, and people come crying. I asked one woman why she couldn't cry. She said the service was too long. I said it was his. home with
But-
the
but-
No, but if people want to
Right.
worship, I am not going to stop them.
But
Right,
you
like
was
that-
worship leading Grenville.
No, yeah, no, just, no,
I
no,
mean,
people,
you-
what did stop?
No,
You-
no,
I thought it was-
Not 2 hours, it was like a half
Hold
hour.
on.
No, Grenville. Listen,
No,
I
most
hold on.
people
I
are
went
not.
to. I somebody invited me.
Are you sure it's listen?
Well, I'm a Christian, right? I'm a devoted Christian.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, there's no time, place, and when and where and how.
Mm.
And I went there, and when I went there, the person invited me in. I mean, I was in and out like 2 foot in, 2 foot out, because I was so overwhelmed by how long the worship session was, you know. And while I'm a person of order too, I believe that it should have had a cutoff there. 'Cause I know some Christians think that they could worship, but Sunday the Lord is left and they still be there, right? And you worship, and when I went, I was outside for like an hour, and it was just a guest, you know. And you know, one lady came crying, weeping and stuff. And I was like, you know, what happened? And she was so overwhelmed just because she was in there. She was just depressed. Like she was like,
Here we go.
Alright, but
I'm just saying.
someone
I just say there have to be a balance. There have to be a balance.
Someone asked a
I
question here.
love the Lord.
Yeah, but you can't force. Well, they
Someone
can't
force him.
force it.
Someone asked a question
No one has to
here.
stay.
Someone asked a question here.
Yeah.
Rogue Watson said, so if you denounce the Lord 2 years later, you're getting kicked out. What if
Allah.
I knew Allah or Buddha?
You want to let that
Yeah,
work?
That's right.
We went off
Because
work.
again, the Constitution.
I don't want-
You have to go back to it. We are you call it a Christian country.
Okay.
When the Constitution talks about the sovereignty of God, everyone understood what that meant, right? So that's just it.
But
That's what
okay,
Constitution-
so
I say that-
we are predominantly
No,
Christian
Yeah,
country,
predominantly,
but with other.
Yeah,
So
but
you
but
didn't want
we
no
are
other
not-
vote but
we
the
are not-
Christian vote?
No, you want all votes.
So,
but
so-
you're talking
so-
about who? I'm just
Who
telling
joins?
you.
Who joins? Who members? So the Muslims, not Hindus,
No,
nothing.
no, we are
the monks, none.
our
Non-members,
are
candidates.
simply candidates.
Candidates.
Because what we didn't want to do is cause more division of Barbados. We go into
So-
some houses, see they're having like shrines to their politicians. You can't compete against that.
So you would have never
So
raised
if-
your membership.
No, the membership was simply candidates.
But hold on. So if
Because we're not-
if I came in and I said,
He was not accepting members.
so right, but if I came in and I said, okay, well, I would like to grow in this party and you know eventually become a candidate myself. Like
But I'm a
Yeah.
Muslim.
how no, I can't about the Muslim part, but how would I develop within the party to become a candidate? Like
Yes,
if you
that's
decide to
about-
retire 2 weeks from
Yes.
2 years from 5 years from now,
Once your intention was to eventually become a candidate, come.
so that is membership.
Yes, yes. So once you, but again, not
You
just,
wanted
do
a
nothing.
ticket membership.
Yeah. So well, it's more. Once your intention was you want to become a candidate, please come.
Kim, what y'all the question?
Wait,
Kim asked a question.
What
We
brought
got
the
one down
question?
soon, Chloe.
Yes. What brought the question about youth participation? Right.
Right. I'm trying to get that there.
I remember we had a conversation once about ministries and shadowing ministries and what's not. Particularly for me as a young person. Now, you said that no, you're too young to shadow a ministry.
Really?
So I looked at you rather strange, right? So I asked
Fair comment, brother.
I asked you weirdly, you know, how old do I have to be able to shadow ministry? So then you brought up the guy Damien
Sans?
no Grenville, who was the senator.
Or was a
on
senator on any of the Dems?
Yes, so you made reference to him and said that when D's brought him on, there was a lot of talk about him being too young and was something along just discrediting the fact of a young person being involved in the arena like that. So, not against the fact I'm a youth, obviously still, well, not only me, but other young persons like Kimara and Jermaine and what's not.
Well, age
They have
50.
skills to offer to the political arena if chosen to do so. So, based on your analogies and response to me, would that disqualify them from actively participating or possibly even holding?
I want ministry.
Yes. So
I want shadow ministry too.
Shadow.
right. So the question was in terms of shadowing a ministry. That was not the problem. The problem is it went further into because what sort of ministry would you get? That was it, and that was so. My point was, I think you were a little too young to be a minister. That was the point, right? Not to shadow you. Anyone can shadow. There's nothing. So in terms of being a minister, I thought
You done the
were
choke
just
You feel you had a 27? You feel you had a 27 cabinet?
But just no, yeah, if you were just tube that button, me and Kimara. Well, no, that was the different. If you had like 16, if you had
Somebody only wants shadow
if
the
you had 16,
investment.
then obviously there's no choice. You
But
have to go on. But if it is that we have,
But you did, but how it is that you can discredit him on one and hold
it's
on.
simply a matter of
No, because you're
Because I'm
contradicting yourself here.
no,
Because
that's like
hold on.
back to
if you're saying
national
if you're saying to me that he cannot shadow based on his
he
words.
can shadow.
No,
That's not-
hold
No,
on.
you just said
I am going back.
He
Hold on.
shadow.
I
No,
can
he can't.
hold on.
Candidate.
He cannot be the candidate.
No, candidate.
He can be a minister. He can be a minister. Well, let me develop my point.
Because
You're saying that
the
because
experience.
hold on. You're saying
What
that.
experience you need to be
Hold
a
on,
minister?
hold on,
Anyone
give
can
me
be
a
a minister.
second. You're saying on one footing.
Well,
Because you know you have technocrats.
Give me a minute.
You have technocrats. Well, go ahead.
But you're saying on one foot that Kimar cannot be a minister because of his age. Kimar is saying he asked you to shadow a ministry, and you say he can't. You're hold on. I going both of you. I was fair.
Yes.
And Kimar is saying based on he asking you to be a shadow minister, he was too young. But you're saying with another breath that if Kimar was a part of the 16 that got in, you would give him a ministry. That's a contradiction.
Yes, because you have no choice now.
No, you could have a senator. No, you could have a senator in the upper house like Lucy Moore or Kay McConnell.
But you know by law, right? That's
So I was just trying to
you,
find
I-
contradiction.
Right before you get to Barbados, you know the rules governing the Parliament in Barbados.
Yes, but there's nothing that's.
But you didn't have to give a ministry. You don't have, even if
You don't have to give the ministry.
use the prime minister, you could give a senator the ministry just like Kenny said, Senator Moore, Kay McConnell. So what I'm saying is,
That you must have three senators.
Jerome is not a minister.
And
Not a candidate.
Yes, so they don't have to be elected.
So yeah, but what I'm just
Well,
saying is you
three
contradict
in
yourself
yes.
by not giving. And bear in mind, like I said this.
But they don't have to be elected.
I can say this publicly and openly.
I just said
Hold on. I can say this publicly and open to you. Well, I thought that Kimar was really unfair in your party. And the reason how I'll tell you was, and I'm going back to you, Phil.
Yes.
When I saw the party first came out and I saw all these other people, all I call you old women talking.
It's not old.
All right?
No.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, in my opinion as a youth, I'm just using it as youth terminology.
I'm the oldest. One
Right?
of the oldest.
But what I'm just saying is, I saw then Kimar spoke. I think the first thing you would have spoken was at some. You don't even have a picture quality to pick out the background. Then it was literally like this layer, and he spoke very well. And then I then started to see Kimar, because he could speak well, get a little bit more space to speak, especially down in Tongue there, but where part you come from. So I thought as a young person, and I also thought it for the Democratic Labour Party too, not only you, that I saw little to no influence as it relate or embracing of the youth to even come into politics. Well, I appreciate the Barbados Labour Party because it brought a lot of youthfulness to it, like Crystal and Damien Sands and those guys, and even having the people like Kurt Humphrey and Marsha and stuff, which is pretty young.
I spoke on many platforms.
I spoke on a lot of platforms for my campaign, which is Vote Barbados 2018, and Jeremy, who's the current carrier, spoke. So what I said that for your party, for Solution Barbados and the Democratic Party, I saw y'all were not very inclusive of the youth, and I thought the youth was taking really disadvantage in relate to both of your parties, and that's my personal opinion.
And Grenville, based on what you're saying here, you do not embrace the youth in Solutions Barbados either.
Yes, I do. That's rubbish.
But you just said it.
No.
I
You're already a twist.
You can't
twist things. We gave Kimar all, and you could, if you want to be honest.
You know what we are.
We gave Kimar all as more than fair.
I don't think so.
So let me explain that.
I'm only looking now. I never had a conversation.
When we had
with Kimar.
so when we had our break press conference, when we had about 20 of us there, and we waited the press. Kimar said he wants to say something. He said, sure. And there was only a few people that spoke, right? A handful.
I think all they saw
Kimar was one.
potential,
When we had something there by his in his constituency, I made sure I'm present. And something happened and it didn't come off. And
I made sure I got Kimar there, and he spoke to the CBC that was there, and then the reporters came to me and wanted me to comment, and I said no, because if I comment, they'll probably put me in the paper. I said it must be all about Kimar. Let me finish. No, because you're talking. Yes, it's correct. Of course, it's true.
Grenville always turned up. Yeah, nobody else, boy.
What?
You was the only boy turning up to everything.
No, other candidates were there too.
I remember I had a debate. I had a debate. But it's a one-man show.
Your candidates, I always seen that just you speaking on Solutions Barbados issues. Was that something that
for me, I can prove it.
Brass tacks, we had a number of us, because I made sure that it's not just me.
But most of the time it was just you.
A number of others, because we had different ones.
I remember Grenville.
When we had, even on CBC,
we did a
it wasn't just me. We had others that went on.
We did a debate, right? We should know Grenville. We did a debate. Yeah. I invited Grenville. Grenville told me, I think it was Paul Gibson supposed to attend. So in my during the debate, I saw Grenville came through the door. So when I saw Grenville came through the door, I thought he was the audience. He was part of the audience. But then you scratch up Paul Gibson's name and wrote your name in places. And that the dog
Right.
That was the day election get called. Because it was you, Lynette, it was Minister Husbands, it was Ronnie Grant, and it was myself moderating. And I was like, Grenville scratching my name.
Right, because if he couldn't attend, he couldn't attend.
Right,
but he didn't attend.
If he didn't attend, he didn't attend.
But you was the first boy watching. You did it. I asked you where the man is.
If he's not right, so if he's not attending, I didn't have to do it. That's why. No, I understand this. Because we asked all our candidates, please go do this. But if they didn't show up, I have to do it.
Right. So, I remember the how
don't try to make it.
That one with you, the one here from BLP and other younger persons.
Again?
That had another.
That was my debate.
Right.
With Leroy Canterbury, it was Grenville.
Yes.
It was Chris. No, it was mostly men.
It was in the crowd.
It was a number of people.
Right, Oliver was there.
Yeah.
But being
DLP was the only one that showed up.
He was the youth in the party.
And it was a youth topic.
I figured out that. Wait, is that Kimar didn't show up for that and represent?
He was there. Kimar was there in the audience.
Right. So what he didn't be the one on the panel. Instead, it was about youth.
Yes.
And clearly you're not youth.
Well, me
anymore.
You asked me to go and relook at those things. Some, they're clear in my mind. That one, I'm not sure.
Guys, we can
I want to ask you a question. Who is your current spokesman in the Solutions Barbados on education?
Grenville.
And you?
Right. Here's the thing. After the elections, operatives of the parties, well, I guess it's yours, went after us with a vengeance.
Well,
yes. So we were. They went after.
And you were inclusive in the South Pole on TV.
I get it. Right. Let me explain that.
Listen.
No, because again, when I got
called.
My clients were called. Their term for my contracts to be terminated. I was actually told stop working. So everything came out. We had candidates who were told solutions or your job, right? Some fired, right? So that's why you don't see all there, because I told them that, all right, just lay low, right? So everyone just lay low, keep working. I told them already that out of the tip of the spear, I'll take it all, right? Because I said I love the Lord with all my heart.
You're accusing people of victimization?
Well, you can take it how you want, right? So those things happened. So I said just lay low, and I would do what I can, right? So that's why every week we do a press release or article, right? Every week. If I know it's me, because again it goes wrong and someone get the look at it, you get a comment.
Do you take those comments into consideration?
Of course. Yes.
I mean,
that's how we got these solutions.
So what about what's your
a lot of changes.
I must say, I let you last article then. It was quite funny.
Yeah, but if you followed
us from the beginning of 2015, you will see a lot of changes.
What's your take on the
to
fact that
our solutions?
the Prime Minister...
And that's and you can, and all the comments are there. You can see
What's your take on the comment that the Prime Minister would have singled you out along with Vernon de Pisa and also not only it was Vernon de Pisa, Joe, and your opposition leader Joe Artley, and yourself. What's your take on that?
Fair comment. But I also want to talk to the other one that you should forgetting of.
Well, that's how the show goes.
Yeah.
That's what I tell you. This is the boy. We move fast, but yeah.
Alright, so she savaged Berla. And she then savaged Joe. And then she didn't hit us too hard because the biggest comment.
One of the great political minds bash everybody.
Right, but what she said about us essentially is that we keep talking about the ISO 9001, we can't stop talking about that. Whereas if you listen now to Lisa Cummins, who came on a few years before her, she said they're going to manage the port in accordance with the ISO 9001 quality management system. And then she also mentioned that there are 6 other agencies that are implementing ISO 9001.
So they're taking your ideas and saying...
Not stealing. It's not stealing because
ISO
they're there. Anyone can use them.
Anyone can use them.
Have
the license.
Right? And they're supposed to do that. Just if you look for the best ideas, just go ahead and do them. If you know that management is the problem, why not institute the management standard? It's just lunacy. It became, unfortunately, politicized. But it's just an obvious solution.
But addressing the comment,
right? That's her criticism of us. And also, she had on a picture
with all three
of us. I can't really blame her. It's just that her communications team or her PR team just fell down because on that was when they asked each of us. It's Barbados today. They called each of us and asked us, "What do we think? Or what is our comment, given that the external creditor situation seems to be resolved?" And every one of us were complimentary. So they chose the photos and the article where we are all complimenting the government for some stability in going forward because we finally have this thing dealt with. So that's all. But that's the PR stuff. So what do you have to say about it? Nothing much. I mean, thank you. If that's all that you can criticize us for ISO, and you're implementing ISO, then fine.
How you call application file down, Grenville? I don't understand.
Because they should have found another article where maybe we were.
I don't know if you share the article.
No, the full article was there.
Okay.
If you go and look at it, the full article was there. No, you asked us about.
You were still ostracized.
Well, that's all right. I'm accustomed to it.
But the Prime Minister, a political giant like that, ostracizing you.
So I was invited then to the South Coast after the
election.
Right after the election, because I was always saying, "Show me the drawings, and I'll give you the solution. I'll tell you why it happened." And we said that for years. When the solution on the street, he said, "Just show me the drawings, because I designed these systems. And I'll let you know why the problem occurred, and the most economical measure you can do to fix it."
Yeah. My last point.
I want to hear.
Right. So
hold on. Let me finish.
Right. So I was asked to come, and I said, "Well, that's a very good start. That's an excellent start." And when I was there, the Prime Minister pointed me out. They said that he's happy to have me there. Some up in the little jars as well. That's all right. Yeah, accept that there. And she asked me, "Grenville, what do you need?" And again, it's all pro bono. And most 80% of the work that I do is pro bono. Right? So 80% of the work that the college does is pro bono because they get paid well enough that I can do that. Right?
High earner.
Right. So. What do you need? I said, I just need to see the drawings. That's it. And the minister was next to her,
and the rest was history.
And he said, "You'll get them." And then I asked the question, because I'm accustomed to that, "But when?" And I was told, "Today."
Let's not.
I was then. Then went on. And I had to sign all these non-disclosure agreements. But I could say that I'm still waiting to see them.
Okay.
Right. So
in particular,
yes. Well, indeed.
You said you were from
But also,
right? as you know, I live in St. George now.
Yes.
So
I go to church sometimes by where you live.
at college.
Yeah, there's a church there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
See
so
me there. Also across in St. Jude's and the
That's the political aspect of you.
Yeah,
You know, you
church.
visit people's church.
Yeah, that's
I've
what
got
you-
church.
Right.
I visit more churches than my own.
great.
Oh, you want
Because
me part of
I
it?
even told me faster, you're not going to see me much.
Yeah, politics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
politics.
Yeah, because I have lots
But
of
let me
and then listen to
ask.
people that say this.
So-
Yeah, go ahead.
In St. George, what's the response like from persons outside the church?
Hallelujah.
How are you getting into the communities of St. George? How are we going to benefit from your educated background in St. George North? Because I have a big family from St. George, and we have a representative, right? But obviously we are open to other ideas if that permits. So what are you doing to effect some type of change within St. George? You know, what plans, what programs do we expect from you as a possibility for representing St. George North in the next election?
If you get that 5 minutes, I'll be appreciated because we can shut down just now. We've been going.
I know that your views on it too. I know you
Yes,
probably could
I've been-
represent St. George North too.
Yes, I've been.
That's
since
Glenn,
I-
right?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
Since I was the winner of the 2014 winner of the National Innovation Competition,
Okay.
I then started teaching people how to start their businesses.
Very good.
And I've done that all over this island. And then I started doing it outside. But I'm really trying to focus on Barbados just till the next election. Because after that, then that will be it for me.
You done election after this?
Yes, I'm done with politics.
If
after
you don't
that.
win,
If I win,
mean-
then I'm only going in for 5 years. Because engineer, you got to understand, this what you have to understand about engineers in politics. I think I'm the first chartered structural engineer to have ever gone for politics on this
Okay.
planet. Because your CV is only good for 5 years. If you haven't done a similar job in the last 5 years, you're disqualified from tendering. You can't commit tender. Automatically disqualified.
See there?
So the only
See?
the length
See?
that only that's why the term is like 4.5
What's-
years, right? Because you only have 5 years. So
but if you don't
but we can
win,
solve the problems in 2 years easily. If you would just look at and that's what's disappointing about the bees in that they all said all ideas will contend, and that never happened. So
yeah,
that's
we got
the
St. George, we got
same
St. George,
thing.
'cause we got 5 minutes.
I haven't seen you at any of the
Rallies?
no, not rallies. These workshops, because we do workshops
We're in St.
Um,
George now.
all over, including St. George. Yes,
We want
So
to St.
want-
George, not Pacific.
We're in
Yes,
St. George
sir.
North. We do workshops.
Well, we had them at churches.
Well, I just asked you outside the church.
Well, but we need a venue, and the church offers a venue for free.
Well,
Right.
that's
So that's it.
reasonable.
Fair enough.
Yes,
That's
so
a
you,
reasonable point.
yes, you got to come to the church.
At College New Testament.
No, we didn't have one there, but we can do one there. But the thing is that what we do is
Organize it, Kieran.
we have it, and people come, and we hold their hands, and we all start businesses together. But the kind of business is the one that we want everyone to have, because I think it's crazy that if you are living in 2019 and you're not selling product in the US, you're
Right, so that's one.
you're harming
What's
yourself.
the next
And
one?
mainly because, and that's the main thing.
How
And
many
mainly because
businesses
they
have you
don't.
started with these people?
No, wait, stop,
Yeah.
let me
No,
go.
let me
just
just
make
say-
a point.
Right, so I start a number, but
You
each
got
of
5
them,
minutes.
each of them start businesses because the aim though is to automate it and sell product in the US because we have a double.
But we
taxation
get that. We
agreement.
don't want no
No,
economy.
this
Let's
is
say we want the
important,
business.
because the double taxation agreement in the US is 5%.
I just
Right,
want
we-
to know.
I-
how many
I-
benefits
yeah,
of
that
our
is
US
one-
citizens
we-
without
But
being
Grenville,
there.
when
How
we
many
appreciate what you
businesses?
do,
I'm sorry,
we just
I just
want.
want figures, just a figure. I don't want anything else. How many businesses?
Yeah, I have about 6 businesses. So sometimes
This is St. George North?
no, not St. George. No,
He owns
you
about
ask how
same
much
thing.
do I have?
No,
How about you started with the youth and thing?
You continue St. George North.
well, people that come about, yeah,
Yeah,
most, well, I would say about half of the people that come.
How? I don't figure.
I know, but I can't tell you that because we've done it for years.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
For
But
years,
what's
and
the
we
program?
publicize it.
What's the
But-
program?
No, we understand. These are, no, here, before I do
But you
that.
must also understand that as a politician,
Yeah.
you have to got these
Figures
figures.
is facts.
Because tell me, bring the progress. You can't give the progress
Yes.
because your full total of persons that did this for roughly 10.
No.
And then half do it, that means that's
Grief,
5.
it's not done in secret. We publicize it. You put it in the paper. And it's done, because it's on radio.
Alright,
So
you
when
said-
you come to it.
but
Have you been to any? Have you been to any?
I know about them.
Is it Dwight Sutherland, engineer? Corey World is asking, isn't he an engineer?
Sutherland? Yes, he's an engineer.
So you can't be only engineer in the world. Then.
I said chartered.
Structure and here different.
Yeah,
he's a
and he actually doesn't work in design like me. He worked at Westmont plant or something. So he worked in a firm like that. So he's not tendering for jobs.
Okay.
He doesn't tender. So therefore, he is
more of a technician.
He's an engineer, proper engineer.
Oh.
But the thing is that he doesn't need to tender for a job
Yeah,
because he works in the industry.
But
me, I get my money from tendering.
He like a doctor.
And therefore, that comes from now to ask me because he asks, why am I engaged in the construction profession? Well, they are this, right? I don't work on corrupt jobs, right? But I know about, but and you know that it's corrupt because if you go to the World Bank or the IDB or whatever, you see a whole list of people that cannot practice anymore. So we know, and we know all the.
And Grenville is not one of those people.
I'm not one of those people.
All right.
And you're not seeing my name up there. And there's a whole list of them.
Fair enough.
So here's the thing. I tender for jobs. That's where we get work.
Yeah, but we get that. But what do you have a program for St. George North?
The main thing is I want them to make money.
All 8,000.
That's all. L8000. Everyone. I want everyone. So that they can, because that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of Solutions Barbados. It was to have people making money. Making money by
self-sustainability.
Well, yeah, partly, but it's more you're making enough that you're paying your monthly expenses, so that you can now do what you want to do, as opposed to doing what you're forced to do to meet cash flow.
Is that
right? So if you're yes, then
right.
But that's not the point. Is not to be self-sustaining. The point is that it's releasing you
from bondage.
To do what you really want to do. Right, so there's some person that's a nurse right now, and they don't like nursing, they hate it, right? But they're doing it to reach cash flow.
Yeah.
But they would rather be a teacher, right? But they can't leave to go to the teaching profession because their spot is taken up by a teacher who hates being there, and she would rather be a nurse. If they had their cash flow taken care of, then you could leave that.
Corey, yes.
Corey,
there are other members of Solution Barbados. Go to solutionsbarbados.com and you will see all the other members. We had to Google it too, don't worry. Solutionsbarbados.com.
So what the other points?
That solves everything because
it can't solve everything.
No, because for
example,
you're talking about the roads. Yes, the roads will be done properly. But why? The roads will be done properly because we will not be so greatly in debt, and we will not be paying so much taxes. We want to abolish that actually. Yes, and that's the thing as well. That's why you told us. That's why we said, come and look at our plan. Right?
Well, the one is
it's not a plan. And let us go through the numbers. Let's go through the numbers and say, yes, this thing works. Because we had a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Nurses of Barbados, ICAP, went through it. And he said this is a good plan. Who wrote the plan? Well, let me explain. It came out of. All right, I'll give me a couple minutes here. No, we got to understand.
Man, listen to ask this stupid question, big man.
This goes back like 20 years ago, right? This goes back 20 years ago or so. When Lynette Eastman. I know, but this when Lynette Eastman was the director of international business.
Yes.
And she asked me to come to a meeting as others, like Jacqueline Cornelius and others, and we met and she taught us about the whole World Trade Organization, GATS, international trade. Yes. Because she's a lawyer in that field. And then she asked me, let me, just come up with, because I was the president at the time of BATE, Barbados Association of Professional Engineers, and she said, come up with a plan for Barbados, for the professions, so that we can negotiate with it. At that time it was the Free Trade Area of the Americas, FTAA. Eventually that fell by the wayside, and then we had CSME and that sort of thing. But we were looking at negotiating the Free Trade Area of the Americas, and we needed to have a plan. And therefore, I contacted the presidents of all the associations in Barbados, all 25 professional associations.
Okay.
And we
developed a plan, the most comprehensive plan for growth in Barbados, because it went into others as well, shippers and others. They can't, because even though you have an engineer who tenders, but there are other engineers who work at others. But so we had this plan, and the plan you went off into the Prime Minister, and all that was done.
So I have a query, right?
Yeah, so that was my final query. So it's a good plan.
Based on what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Lynette Eastman was the director of international business in the Ministry of Commerce years ago.
I believe
And
she
international
was
business,
director, yes.
Yes, she was the director
Okay,
of
good.
business and
Yes.
business in Ministry of Business and International
Yes,
Business.
what
Right?
years ago,
You
yes.
got shut down.
She asked you to do something.
Yes. She invited others.
Right,
She invited
others.
others.
Hold on.
Some had to do
Hold
this.
on. You coordinated them with 25 other associations in Barbados. They came up with a plan, and you took the plan and keep it as Solutions Barbados.
No, we took the plan and gave it to the government, and that was that.
So how
Then
then
we-
Solutions Barbados?
Because then you could be looking for a good plan that then became the base of our policies.
But
Therefore,
that's
it's not
not infringement.
infringement. What?
Or infringement what?
Fucking garbage now. It's garbage. I'm used to that garbage. I just thought it would wane a bit after the election, but you're just still having it. I know, but it's not the garbage.
But the money is not his
Stop
plan.
it, garbage.
The guys are here for there.
Yes, everyone can use it.
Last
You
person
can
make
use
money.
it. What you don't?
Anybody can use it every
This
month.
is
Yes,
what,
you can use it.
So my last query, right? This is the fundamental issue that I have. Somehow you seem to believe that, it's still you have a plan to put in place to help the economy, but there's no plan really actually to help the people who can let you within the constituency. So first is to understand that you have to go to these people and convince them
To vote for you.
to vote for you first, not the whole, because the whole country can't let you.
Only one
Only one constituency could elect you.
Yes.
So, back to what we were asking, besides the point of helping thousands of people just make money, will you come into St. George North to convince us all to put you in Parliament to represent us, our interests? Because it's not only about the plan, there are a lot of issues that arise within the constituency that I think you know about.
Yes. But we
will implement.
Grenville, you
we will
have 2
implement-
minutes to
Right.
wrap up. But we wrap up the show
Okay. We
because
plan
we're
to
going
implement.
extended hours.
We plan to implement all of our policies. They're there on solutionsbarbados.com.
Okay.
They address all parts of the economy and the society.
What's the specifics?
I don't want
Well, yeah, because we're going to that now. Right. Well,
he said already. He gave 2 comments already. Money.
Yes, repairing the roads, lower taxes for everyone. But again, the roads. There's some roads are pretty bad. But they're yes,
Right.
yes. But you asked for about St. George, but it's going to happen all over. Everybody should be paying less taxes, not just people in St. George North. Everybody should have good roads. Everybody should have well-managed public services, because it'll be managed in accordance with what? ISO 9001. Why? Because it's the
Benchmark salary.
right. Well, I hope you go and talk to some people and let them know that you support it as well.
I never said he supported it.
Yeah, you don't support it? All right.
I'm in support of it.
Okay, well, you do nothing if you don't. I mean, good grief, if you have a management problem, institute the management solution. Don't just bumble along. How you doing?
So you use it at work?
Huh?
You use
Yes,
it at work?
I use it. Yes, ours was the first company to be ISO registered
free?
in the Caribbean.
It's free.
You could do it for free if you want to.
Alright.
There's enough YouTube videos about it.
Still haven't no
Yeah, but at least you'll start. You'll start.
Kimar, the final
After
question
that,
for you.
no, because let me explain about this. Yeah, so
You
because
still have
after that,
no canvassing policy.
no, people can canvass if they want to.
But you said no canvassing.
No, I say you don't need to. I said if you don't want to, I'm not forcing you into doing anything. You do what you want. Those
Takes
who want
change,
to go,
you left,
go
you a
ahead.
day.
Right, so those who want to, go
You
ahead.
a day.
Those who just feel, no, I want to do something else. I want to send mailers. I want to go read. Do what you want to do. I give people the authority to do whatever they wanted to do. Well,
We think he get on in church, man?
well, no, but I go to worship.
Oh,
Right,
please.
I go to worship. But also, you talk to people.
Oh, please.
I go and shop in the area.
The man,
I shop in the
a
area.
great politician wants
No,
tell
but-
me if you want to get members, go to church and funerals.
Yes.
Come on, Grandma,
Yeah,
don't
but
tell me
I
foolishness.
don't go to funerals. So I don't play that game. So I don't go to
But
funerals.
you go to church.
I
You
go
know
to church because I love to worship with the Lord.
Anywhere,
I love to worship
everywhere.
people, anywhere. But you don't understand. I am no. If we win, right? If we win, it will not be that good for me.
Okay.
Right? It'll be good for Barbados.
But not for you.
Because they'll pay, again, no VAT, no land tax.
That's
no,
if
'cause
you
again,
members win.
Yeah, well,
You're gonna get
yes,
Parliament,
that's true. I'm just trying
not
to explain to
Grenville.
you. I'm just trying to explain to you.
Jermaine.
No VAT and no land tax.
Because you don't
Jermaine.
need it. That's what he
Okay.
said. That's what he said. The plan was out there for 4 years.
What we can
don't
go
know
on
if
is
they
bring
look at
back
it.
Grenville again.
Very
Right?
good.
So it's a good plan, but
And I want the policies
yeah,
on paper when you can't Grenville.
yeah, well, it's there. I said go on to
No, I mean,
come
I
on,
want to read you.
But-
You
but
got to read you
why
that
did
for
I ask the
yourself.
question? There's no cameras. That no
It's not
cameras.
no
It's
campus
not
saying-
there.
It was not. It was saying it was not mandatory. It's not saying oh you got a frightened of you, so you have to go. If you don't want to canvas, don't canvas.
So
And there was I think a lady that never canvassed at all. Actually got a whole bunch of votes.
So we'll transfer
Right,
the
so-
party for
so-
canvassing.
Chances.
Transfer the members for canvassing and say that
May
the
Rafi.
only person who I can see I can visualize
Where did we get that from?
the only person who was obedient to you was I don't know what her name, but
That.
and look how much vote she got. The rest of y'all then listen.
No,
y'all with this
right. No, you're not understanding. You can do what you want. I said you don't have to.
He's a shepherd.
You don't have to. Huh? No, I said you don't have
That's
to.
a
If
serious
you want to,
box.
go ahead.
But
Right? And
no,
no, well, hear me because this is very
Right.
important thing because this
We can end on
is
this
creating a bunch of madness. No, I said if you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you do, I'll be there with you.
Okay.
Right? But when people went out, I was there with them. Those that didn't want to, they were no problem.
I see you
But-
can't
but
Yes,
but
of course.
I can tell you right.
No, just by me, anyone. If you want me to go with you,
But
I'm going to
Grenville,
go with you.
I can tell you-
And all of it, and that's why we went. I went from St. Lucie all the way down to St. Philip.
If I was a
Canvassing
leader,
with people that wanted to, and those who didn't
Jermaine
want
looking
to.
for a party.
That's all right.
if I was a leader of a party,
Yes.
a new party, and they have candidates,
They must go.
all them must canvass. How would you get to the meat of the matter with your constituency? You must canvass. You must talk to people not only in church, people that you need to vote for you. You need the guys on the block.
Yes.
You need the guys that not work. You need
Yes.
the man that home that the urchin that ain't going outside.
Yes.
You
You need the
need
canvas.
And those,
The
and,
gays,
and-
lesbians.
yes, agreed. So those, that's why I said those that did not canvass, I went out on their behalf.
But it can't work.
All right,
Wow,
fine, it
wow,
can't
wow,
work.
wow,
Can't
okay.
work. All the things,
Okay,
all the
guys.
things that yes, it can't work, but it happened to work.
Okay, guys.
Right?
It happened to work?
Yeah, because the one
Yeah, but the reason why it didn't work,
Yeah,
is because you do not have no member in parliament. So it didn't work.
All right, fine.
So you got change.
Let
You
me
got
give Grenville.
change.
I want to give Grenville the last
Alright,
word.
let me get
Before
last word.
questions.
That's where.
Grenville, before
Yes.
questions, 2 minutes, please.
Yes.
I need to go. Oh, y'all need to go to CB. Well,
Yes.
go ahead. Life from
Solutions Barbados was formed
Coca-Cola.
to
Don't do that, Kiwa.
No, I mean life from
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Oh.
No, sorry, not you. Not
because
you.
Barbados was on the brink of economic ruin and wanted to save it without austerity.
Okay.
Any idiot can raise taxes, right? Anyone can
You
go.
thought it is raised that.
Right. Well, anyone can raise taxes. You weren't going to go that route. Anyone can confiscate your pension or your retirement savings. We weren't going to go that route. So there are easy things, crude ways of doing this, which we were not going to do. We were going to do a more elegant approach of growing the economy,
Okay.
right?
Fair enough.
And we had the plan for 4 years, well, 3 years at that time, and it's still there. It's still a workable plan. We had it vetted, reviewed carefully. We tried to have the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados as an organisation review it, and they seem to have gone politicized. We tried with the Barbados Economic Society and they said, look, please review this here. If it's garbage, come out and say it's garbage. But if not, come out and give us some endorsement. And they seem to got politicized as well. We tried with the Chamber of Commerce and they came up with a new law that unless you're a member of Parliament, you cannot talk to their members about the economy. And therefore they barred me. And they could not go and talk to the Barbados Chamber of Commerce. I tried with the Barbados Business Association. I said, look, this is a good plan. We got it vetted by a chartered accountant, a fellow of the Institute. He's saying this is good and it's workable. Can you please take a look at it?
Was that chartered accountant member?
No.
Okay.
No, he's an independent, completely independent fellow. So
Who is this person?
I can't say because then what happened was
Publish your result.
yes, I published what he said, but I talked to the president and asked the president, can you talk to him and just confirm? Because what happened after that was that, all right, a BLP fellow came out. Apparently they got wind that this fellow was coming out and was going to endorse it. He was going to come out publicly as he agreed to endorse it. But that night, BLP candidate came out and savaged my family. Right? I'm the only political leader who that happened to. So after that, they were not family.
My
What-
father
what
was
other-
called blood politics
Oh, well,
and
you
stuff
can't-
like that.
Right, but
You
know
can't
what,
say yourself.
Fine, that's extended. But anyhow, so they did that, and after that, the wife told him, look, don't do that to me. Right? And that's why he then talked to the president of ICAP, and all this verifiable, you can go talk to the president.
Well,
and the president
Just
talked to
revamping
him
that, guys, please.
and agreed to, if anyone asks, say yes.
I just want
Yes,
to stop
it
because
happened. So the thing is that the plan is still good.
It's still good, right?
We can
Just
still
let me-
bring prosperity to Barbados without the austerity. And we can reverse all this
I
austerity.
just want to make one final comment.
Go ahead.
Jeremy, this is
And
start
this
for
is
conversation.
a reply to what you just said. About
Quickly,
your-
Jeremy, quickly.
What you
Come
said.
on, Jermaine.
Come on, hold on, let me talk. now.
I don't want you.
What
We
said
don't want you
about
to talk.
your-
That's
what you said
what
about
you
your
thought.
plan.
You wanna
and
go
the
home?
fact that, it was endorsed by a chartered accountant.
Yes.
And that these professionals endorsed it, right? I just want to say to you that when you look at the political history in Barbados, most, if not all, the politicians who passed through the halls of Parliament in your house, all right, and the persons who
All right,
associated
Jeremy.
them were part of some professional organization or some profession.
Yeah, that's okay.
And just because that person is a professional, in terms of an accountant, doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever, it doesn't mean that they're competent. And that is my
Oh,
final
well, yes,
Okay.
I agree. But once you reach a fellow, if you're a fellow, usually that indicates that you're
You gotta
objectively
get jacket.
objectively verified as competent. And also,
There are a lot of fellows that say this.
All right. But you
Right.
can't discard the
Yes.
people professional.
But when I say that they were
Yeah, Jim.
politicized, I mean from experience. I asked, can I share it? And I was told yes. I said, please don't do that after the elections. He said, they will never do that. You have my word.
Okay.
He kept asking that. They've never allowed me to share it with the accountants.
Okay. Thank you, Grenville.
Yes. So it's not for lack of trying.
Well, you said you could go on for 5 hours. We don't have the luxury of 5 hours.
But if anyone asks any questions, I'll answer them.
Feel
So
free to post your
they can
questions
post
on
them.
anything to Grenville.
Right, and I'll answer every single one.
You can go back and watch it over and see the comments as well. There was some very good comments.
Okay,
We
I'll
would
look at them.
also up to now, Grenville can't say where the 2 accountants were vetted.
So I just
or
explained to
supported.
him about the man's wife.
Well,
DeBrief.
right. These comments are now popping up. But thank you
What do you expect?
for all the comments. Thank you for people that have been watching, like Rogue Watson, Warren Wazo, the young lady that went out, Alicia Barrow, and a number of persons who kept the show going. We're on again Saturday, and then next week we have a very interesting guest, next week. Not no, we call our name Saturday to get the people hype up. But we have some very interesting guests coming. We want to thank everybody for watching. It was a very long run.
Sunday,
Advertisement, go ahead.
this is for any young persons who may be interested in the Young Democrats. We have a general meeting on Sunday at
Somebody said, believe Jeremy hard for Barbados.
for meet and greet. So we're inviting all young persons to come and to meet the new executive with the Young Democrats. That will be this Sunday at 5 p.m. at the George Street headquarters in Belleville. We'll be having a panel discussion with economist Antonio Ali. The panel will be myself and Verlinda Pisa.
Also, the Men's Empowerment Network support. They'll be having their men's stop meeting at the Barbados Family Planning Association on Saturday
Yes, you can
at
come
6
for it.
p.m.
Corey, what want to know if you can go to that
Maybe I'm
meeting?
gonna invite you. You should probably come on.
All right, send me something there.
Yeah, I'll send you flight.
And let me also do a little advertisement too then.
Yeah, Grenville, sorry, Grenville, have an event. Tell Grenville.
Right. No, we will then plan another event, another workshop where we invite in people, come learn how to start your business, learn how to get it automated, learn how to get your stuff in the US, learn how to take advantage of the double taxation agreement. It took me quite a while, it took me a year, because they kept, whenever they send the money to me, they would take out 30%. Until I then figured out all the parts needed to take advantage of the double taxation agreement. There's no one to help you.
Okay.
And I teach people how to do it. And
I'm
then
coming.
they just take out 5% and I get 95%.
But sure, we
So we will share date and we will think on our page or message me.
Well,
Also,
everybody, that's what institutions are all about, making money. Right?
but
Less taxes, but you want it austerity, so you want it now.
To end on a high note, right? Corey says to you, Grenville, I believe Grenville's heart is for Barbados.
well, I said that just now.
Yeah, it's-
Right, but it's good.
It's really well.
Grenville, we thank you for coming on the show. We would love
you.
to have you back on the show again.
Yeah.
In the near
Anytime.
future when you announce your full fledged of candidates, bring someone come on the show. We are growing in numbers. We are growing in viewership. We will enjoy having you back again. We want to thank you for coming out, for taking time out to come and hear from us, connecting with the panel. I want to thank everybody for viewing. Stay tuned again Saturday at 6 p.m. Myself, Kimar Safri, Damani Paris, Jermaine Beckford, Kimar Stewart.
Damani Paris in here, sir.
Small. Damani small. My humble apologies. Simon Ali. And again, we want to thank you for just coming out. We got Kieran Henry and thing. Remember earlier in the show, used to be our technical guy. We just want to thank you for popping in the studio. Everybody have a blessed and wonderful night. See you again Saturday at 6 p.m.